which were scored in amazing fashion. Clyde Drexler had 19. Would you trade this guy? Don't think so. First half, Nick highlight from Anthony Mason. With this reverse, he said he planned it all along. Blazers up 2 at the break. In the third quarter, Rod Strickland continued to dissect the Knicks defense, building up an 11-point Portland lead. But the fourth quarter was Knick time, and the Patrick Ewing, with this one-hander, got his team within 1. Then the lead for good with this spin move on Buck Williams. But Portland didn't die easily, and the Knicks needed a boost and got one when John Starks hit this 3 with 1:10 left. The final, 105-99. Here's Pat Riley.
Our defense late in the game was exceptional. We were contesting shots, we were forcing shots, and most importantly, we were making them at the other end. Once we got 7 points ahead, we were not going to be denied.
We can't keep winning in the fourth quarter. We want to win, start out the game strong and end the game strong.
Is this a great feeling for this team right now?
Definitely. We just got to keep it going.
Defense and rebounding has been our first thought lately, and for the most part, that's been the reason why we've been successful.
The Knicks have reclaimed dominance in the fourth quarter, which was their trademark of a season ago. In the last 4 games, look at what they've done, outscoring their opponents, holding their shooting percentage down below 40%, and out-rebounding them by almost double the number. In the Atlantic Division now, the Knicks are finally getting to see some daylight. You know, it was a frustrating thing. They would win, so would the Magic, but now they've gotten it down to 6.5 games and can start looking up again as the Magic being a very reachable target. But they'll still have to work hard, they know it, especially on a night like this. Monty Williams, Patrick Ewing, Charles Smith, Derek Harper, and John Starks getting set to take on the Clippers of L.A. As we turn to the Alamo scouting report. This a team that comes in with only 7 wins. Bill Fitch still wears his NBA World Championship ring, but he knows what it's like to be in a losing team situation. He's been there with the Nets, with Cleveland, and now again with Los Angeles, with so few recognizable names on the roster. If you look at the lineup tonight, a quick note that Pooh Richardson, one of the better players on this team, will miss tonight's game because of a sprained knee. The lineup that will take the floor tonight against the Knicks is this: Loy Vaught, Charles Outlaw, Tracy Murray, Terry DeHare, and Malik Sealy. Some of those names, at least, are familiar, but not many of these. Tony Massenberg is a reserve. Eric Piatkowski, Gary Grant, who beat the Knicks last season with a jumper in the corner, Eric Riley, Harold Ellis, Randy Woods, and we'll show you that winning jump shot a little bit later in the Knicks notebook. Built to last? Well, we don't know. What about the future of this team? They're 7-34, last in the league. Shooting percentages last. The scoring margin at which they lose, the turnovers that they commit, the rebounding margin is last. But they do lead the league in turnovers forced. Bill Fitch, 2 nights ago at Boston Garden, saw his team take over the game in the second quarter. Pooh Richardson scored 15 and passed off for 11 assists, so they won't have that tonight. Meanwhile, the team's best player, Loy Vaught, scored 22 and grabbed 12 rebounds. At Boston Garden, the Clippers win 107-98. In the Pacific Division, you can imagine that 7 wins doesn't get you much. It puts you in last place, as a matter of fact, 25 games behind the Phoenix Suns, who are 31-8. Well, the lead coach, or the coach that you just saw moments ago guiding this team is Bill Fitch. You'd have to think that this is a bit of a struggle, but in a conversation that we'll have with him when we come back on Knicks game night, you can see that he's very sympathetic of the team that he's coached so far this season. But before we go, the New York Times transaction wire. The NBA suspending Scottie Pippen of the Bulls for 1 game and fining him $6,000 for throwing a chair onto the floor. Can't do that.
Any faucet can...
'85 Mitsubishi Galant, filled with your favorite things.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden and Knicks game night, just outside the Clippers dressing room with their coach, well-known Bill Fitch. Bill, welcome back to Madison Square Garden. As I look at the schedule, and anyone would look at the schedule and the record of your team, you'd say, boy, it's been a rough season for you. Are there any positives that you've drawn from the team's performance so far, or not?
Well, 7 of them, 7 nights, right? You know, Al, I think that with the team we have, we've had a lot of good nights, even though our win-loss record doesn't show it, because this ball club, when we started, had a lot of unproven players, guys that hadn't played in the league. I think at one time we had 4 guys that had never played in the league, and we still do, and that had not won a game when we were on that 16 and zip.
Right.
There were guys that were talking about the losing streak. We had guys that never won a game in the league, but they're a hard-working group. We've got a lot of young men that are going to be in this league down the road, and most of them, like I tell them, you have a chance to even out the record.
What I've heard is that all the guys that didn't want to be in L.A. anymore and really were the undercurrent of bad feelings in the locker room are gone, and that the group you do have, in spite of the fact that they're not winning, really wants to be there and play.
Well, I hope so. That's one of the.
You get that sense, though?
One of the understandings that we just want guys that want to be here, and I've told them where's a better place to have the opportunity, and if you're going to win and gain something from it. I mean, they really would be worldwide famous if they put together a winning streak.
Have you seen the cover of Sports Illustrated, the most recent one with Derek Coleman on the cover?
No, I was just talking to one of the guys about it. I haven't seen it. I heard about it.
The gist of it is that there are self-centered athletes that are taking over the NBA. They're prima donnas, and they're bad for the league. In the case of at least the players that you've been exposed to, Derek Coleman and Kenny Anderson, is their attitude toward the
restaurant and a shot at winning an Eagle Vision TSI. To enter, stop by any participating Reese restaurant for your official entry form.
Tonight, from the pages of the Knicks notebook, a reminder that if you think the Knicks-Clippers games have nothing to offer, think again. Chapter 1, November 30th, 1988. Gerald Wilkins successfully drives the lane to send the game into overtime, where a very excited Knicks team carried their emotion to a 7-point win. The following year, 1989, Rod Strickland missed a free throw, but Gerald Wilkins again was the man coming out of nowhere to give the Knicks the lead. Reggie Williams missed from half court at the buzzer, and the Knicks celebrated a thrilling 1-point win on the road. Chapter 3, 1991. The Knicks clinging to a 1-point lead, and the Clippers' Charles Smith frustratingly could not put home the game winner. Time expires, and the Knicks held on for their 10th straight win over the Clippers and brought a rare smile to the face of Knicks coach John McLeod. Chapter 4. The infamous trash-talking battle between John Starks and Mark Jackson occurred early in the 92-93 season. The two former teammates spent much of the game exchanging pleasantries, but what began as friendly taunting eventually got out of hand. Following an incident in front of the Knicks bench in which John Starks threw water at Mark Jackson, the Knicks guard was benched by Pat Riley. Jackson and the Clippers went on to win 101-91. 2 months later, in his first game back at Madison Square Garden, the score was tied at 86 when the former Knick missed a layup that would have provided him with a storybook ending. Instead, it set up a thrilling overtime.
Down by 1, and now down to 25 seconds to go in overtime. Ewing setting the pick. Now Ewing down low. Ewing puts the move on and hits. The Knicks by 1, 97-96. Larry Brown will not call for timeout. Did not want to take a chance inbounding. We're down to 6 seconds. Down to 4. Down to 3. Here's Grant from deep. He hits at the buzzer, and the Clippers have won. Gary Grant with a buzzer basket. The Clippers defeat the Knicks in overtime. Oh, that will not be appreciated.
Last season, the California earthquake moved the game from the damaged LA Sports Arena to the pond in Anaheim. John Starks hit a three-pointer with 34 seconds left that gave New York a 101-99 lead. While Starks and the Knicks celebrated his big shot, there would be more to come, as this game was anything but over.
Manning putting the move on Oakley, and Ewing, and he's tied the game at 101. Danny Manning with 39 points, down to 10 seconds. They do not want to leave the Clippers with any time on the clock. Down to 5. Ewing off a double team. Here is Ewing over Spencer. Yes! 9/10 of a second remaining. Patrick Ewing has 101 lead.
Patrick Ewing's shot was indeed the game winner, but he couldn't leave L.A. without getting in the last word to his old buddy as well. Well, the first game we showed you in Knicks Notebook tonight was back in 1988. There's been a lot of turnover between then and now. You're looking at the only player who will play in tonight's game who played 6 years ago when the Knicks met the Clippers. Well, this is one of those nights where if you're a season ticket subscriber, maybe you gave your tickets to a friend. It seems as though there are a lot of new faces on hand here at Madison Square Garden, but real die-hard Knicks fans who are pretty excited about getting the chance to be here. And if you look at the recent history in Knicks Notebook, you think that maybe they'll get treated to a good game. Remember, it's guaranteed win night. We'll see you back here in a few minutes. The Sports Desk is next.
Bob Page back in our Sports Desk studios once again. His image and credibility already near zero after that disgraceful refusal to enter a playoff game against the Knicks last year. Scottie Pippen took another hit today. He was fined $6,000 and suspended 1 game without pay by Rod Thorne for a tantrum he threw on Tuesday night. Pippen clashed with no-nonsense ref Joey Crawford in the Bulls game against San Antonio. He was ejected, then threw a chair onto the floor.
My first inclination was that it maybe should have required a multiple game suspension, because when you start throwing chairs onto the floor, number one, you could hurt someone very seriously if you happen to hit them. And in this case, there were people scurrying around setting up for what was going to transpire during the stoppage in play. And you just can't do that.
At least Pippen got some good news today when final fan balloting for the All-Star teams was announced. He will be an Eastern Conference starter for the February 12th contest at Phoenix, along with Detroit rookie forward Grant Hill, Shaquille O'Neal at center, and Reggie Miller and Anthony Hardaway in the backcourt. Hill was thrilled.
That's going to be fun. I'm going to be out there like a little kid. And I'm just going to try to throw alley to Shaq. And these are people I've seen on TV, and I saw them last year and the years before. And now to be playing with them, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Hill, who has been injured of late and hasn't even had a great season, got the most votes of any player in history. And what that tells you is that fans find Grant Hill's excellent character and excellent attitude very refreshing in this day and age. Here's the starting lineup for the West team for the All-Star game. Charles Barkley, the leading vote getter there. His partner at forward will be Shawn Kemp of Seattle. Dan Marley and Latrell Sprewell in the backcourt. Hakeem at center. Various media reports say disgruntled Clyde Drexler will be traded by Portland to Seattle for the Sonics' own disgruntled guard Kendall Gill. Gill's unhappiness is certainly understandable. When he negotiated a new multi-million-dollar contract recently with the Sonics, he demanded that he be guaranteed in writing how many minutes he would play in each game. The Sonics, for some reason, refused. The Nets surprisingly playing fairly well on this 5-game Western swing. After a win at Oakland on Tuesday night, they took the Lakers to overtime last night before bowing 120-116. You can tell the Lakers are improving. Now the fair-weather Hollywood celebs starting to show up again. Off a Kenny Anderson miss, Vlade Divac outlets to Nick Van Exel to Cedric Ceballos. But New Jersey still led Magic Johnson's ex-team by 4 at halftime. Beleaguered Butch may have gotten a break late in the fourth quarter. Jason Williams probably could have been called for an offensive foul, but the hoop counts with 15.9 seconds left. The two teams go to overtime. In the extra session, that man, Ceballos, took over. Divac to Van Exel to Ceballos again for 2 of his game-high 33 points to go with 10 rebounds. The Nets play at Denver tomorrow night. Now stay tuned as the Knicks host the Los Angeles Clippers next here on MSG.
New York Knicks Game Night has been brought to you by MCS Cannon. Let us show you the possibilities.
Hello and welcome to the Ice.
In winning 13 of the last 14 games, the Knicks continue to come together as a team. On the other hand, Bill Fitch has taken over a Clipper team that has seen much of its crew abandon ship. Danny Manning is now in Phoenix following last year's trade to Atlanta. The man they got to replace him, Dominique Wilkins, walked the plank to Boston. Ron Harper has done in Chicago with the Bulls. And first mate Mark Jackson was shipped off to the Indiana Pacers. The mutiny has left Captain Fitch with an inexperienced crew that has won only 7 games. Pardon Patrick Ewing if he can't keep from smiling. Welcome to Madison Square Garden for the 100th consecutive sellout for the New York Knicks. The Knicks and the Los Angeles Clippers about to meet for the first time this season. The Clippers have the worst record in the NBA, winning only 7 of 41 games. They are in 7th and last place in the Pacific Division, while the Knicks are now 25 and 13, and with the feeling that they are capable of giving Orlando a run for top spot of the Eastern Conference. The Knicks are 6.5 games behind the Orlando Magic. Hi, everybody. Marv Albert along with John Andres. And John, very nice of you to drop by and fit us into what I know is a very busy schedule.
I will save those lines, Marv, for you for the remaining games of the season.
Does the name Charles Bo Outlaw mean anything to you? 6'8", 210 pounds, and he is the Los Angeles Clippers starting center, which should please Patrick Ewing right throughout tonight's game.
Perhaps his name will be the most formidable part of the evening. But Patrick Ewing is a tough man for anyone these days, as most of the NBA is finding out. He's on a tremendous roll, it seems, no matter who's his opposition player. Now, against Portland the other night, he gave Chris Dudley a move and a half that brought the Knicks to within 3 in the fourth quarter, as the Knicks saved their best for the latter part of the game. And then down low against Buck Williams, he gave the Knicks a 1-point lead with that move. And Patrick continued his great play in the fourth quarter, putting the Knicks over the top with this move late in the game. Against the Portland Trailblazers the other night, after that exciting finish, Patrick had very formidable numbers: 25 points, 9 of 20, 7 of 8 from the field, 11 rebounds. He also became the 50th player to go over 17,000 career points. He passed Bob Cousy recently, Marv, and now he's on his way to Clyde Drexler.
Right. And last night in Boston, the LA Clippers surprised the Celtics by knocking off the Celtics, which tells you how far Boston has fallen. And the Clippers were sparked by Loy Vaughn, one of the pleasant surprises for the Clippers this season. He is a fifth-year man out of the University of Michigan.
Vaughn is a tough guy. He's one of those people who's going to get his points now every night. He's that good a shooter. And he put on a very nice show in Boston last night with his jump shooting. He's tough around the boards, got the good bounce in one occasion, and had the jump shot right away from the foul line. Working against the taller Dino Raja, who takes up a lot of room. Vaught showed how quickly he can get that jump shot off. And he did it again against Raja, time and again. The very quick jump shot, even the fall-away jumper on target. Averaging 17 a game, shooting the ball over 50%, getting 9 rebounds a game. He's leading the Clippers in points and in rebounding, and he comes off 22 points and 15 rebounds last night. So, you know, Pat Riley's focusing on him.
And again, John, on behalf of the entire staff, thank you so much for turning up for the Knicks and the Clippers.
The sincerity, Marv, is overwhelming.
It's tripping. Back with the starting lineups right after these messages.
Airlines.
If you thought you missed Toyota's giant 96-hour marathon, it's back by popular demand. You've got only 4 more days to still save on
Is brought to you by Ice Draft. Taste the future of draft beer. New ice brewed ice draft from Budweiser. By The Card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. By Nobody Beats the Wiz Home Entertainment Centers. By Delta Airlines, official airline of Madison Square Garden. And by Citibank, for banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
Back at Madison Square Garden, we are set for the introduction of the starting lineups.
New York Knicks.
Here tonight's starting lineups. First for the Clippers. At guard, at 6 feet from LaSalle, number 14, Randy Woods. At guard, at 6'8" from St. John's, number 21, Malik Sealy. At forward, at 6'7" from California, number 7, Lamont Murray. At forward, at 6'9" from Michigan, number 35, Loy Vaught. And at center, at 6'8" from Houston, number 45, Charles Outlaw. The trainer is Keith Jones. Assistant coaches Jim Brewer, Barry Hecker, and Bob Osipka. And the head coach, Bill Fitch. Pooh Richardson will not play tonight due to injury. Assistant coaches Jeff Van Gundy and Jeff Nix, and the head coach of the Knicks, Pat Riley.
Well, this is the scene moments ago when Pat Riley and Bill Fitch made their way onto the court. Bill throwing some one-liners, undoubtedly. Much mutual respect between these two. You know that Pat Riley considers Bill Fitch, like himself, a lifer. Bill Fitch, at 60 years old, the second oldest head coach in the NBA behind Dick Motta of the Dallas Mavericks, with a club that has won only 7 games. We asked Bill earlier about the difficulty in coaching a team like the Clippers.
With the team we have, we've had a lot of good nights, even though our one-loss record doesn't show it, because this ball club, when we started, had a lot of unproven players, guys that hadn't played in the league. I think at one time we had 4 guys that had never played in the league, and we still do, and that had not won a game when we were on that 16 and zip. Right. There were guys that were talking about the losing streak. We had guys that never won a game in the league, but they're a hard-working group. We've got a lot of young men that are going to be in this league down the road, and most of them, like I tell them, you'll have a chance to even out the record.
Very compassionate Bill Fitch, who went through a similar process many years ago as head man of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Marv, he, like Dick Motta, 2 oldest coaches, by the way, in the NBA, as you mentioned, are working hard now with a different attitude of today's player, which is becoming more and more apparent. You can't jam your thinking down the young players' throats like they used to in those earlier years.
The officials, George Tolliver, Dave Jones, and a man that the New York Knicks and Knicks fans are quite familiar with, a fellow by the name of Hugh Hollins.
We take that reference back to the Chicago series, I believe, Marv. The end of Game 5 in here.
Ewing wide open, but will not count. 3-second violation called by Hugh Hollins.
A very emphatic call by Hugh Hollins. Against the Knicks.
The L.A. Clippers last night in Boston beat the Celtics 107-98. Certainly a very satisfying victory for Bill Fitch, although every win is cherished and satisfying these days. Eric Hopper, John Starks, met by Malik Sealy. Pooh Richardson, incidentally, out of the starting lineup today because of a strained right knee.
It is the first game he's missed this year, starting all 41, as has Loy Vaught. He's the 5th leading assist man in the NBA. See him sitting on the bench there with that bright shirt or sweater that he's wearing, and he will be missed. He's very important to this team as far as whatever assists they get.
So Randy Woods, third-year player from LaSalle, is starting at point guard. And Charles Outlaw, the 6'8" center we discussed right at the start of the telecast, called for the foul.
Patrick getting muscled down low. It's the only way to deal with Patrick if you're 6'8".
And Ewing missing the stuff, and a foul is called. It's on Vaught. So Ewing will go to the line. It's Loy Vaught, who had the good one last night. 9 of 15, 22 points, 12 rebounds against the Celtics. This the first of 2 meetings between the Clippers and the Knicks. That's the first point of the night. They will play again in L.A. March the 25th. John, I know you'll want to mark that on your calendar.
Saturday night, Marv.
Yes.
I've already got it circled.
Although we enjoyed the game last year, it was played in Anaheim with the earthquake damage forcing the closing of the sports arena in Los Angeles for 2 weeks, and that was a tremendous game. The Knicks won on a last-second jump shot by Patrick Ewing, winning 103-101.
Also, that was a record crowd for the Clippers, going over 17,000.
Here's Sealy. Blake Sealy, who has played well, giving the Clippers a 2-1 lead. So it's a homecoming for Malik out of St. John's and Talentine High School in the Bronx. Starks changed his mind. Here's Smith, the one-time L.A. Clipper. Rebounded by Monty Williams. Monty the other night against Portland got off to a good start, and Starks able to bank it home. I don't think that was his intention.
Because everyone jokes when you see a straightaway shot like that go in off the backboard. Did he call it, as they do in the playground, to make a little extra special shot when you can call the shot going in off the backboard?
Are you implying that John should be involved in the game with force? Is that what we're saying here?
Absolutely. And he's got some explaining to do, hitting a jump shot straight away off the backboard.
That's the 24-second buzzer. The Knicks with a 4-2 lead.
We take that a little step further, Marv. Every shooter, particularly out front, is always looking to hit that front rim or just go over it. So when you find a shooter shooting from that distance, hitting the backboard, I mean, he overshot it so dramatically, but he had the good fortune of being on target in the sense that the backboard then just banked it right in.
Offensive foul on Charles Smith. John Starks opening up by hitting that 3, and he has certainly found the range from downtown. The last 5 games, he is 22 of 37 from three-point land, including tonight.
Come on, back pick. Come on, Rick.
That's Murray, the rookie from the University of California that the funnel put on. So the game is tied at 4. Outlaw able to hit on the follow. Starks guarded by Sealy. Here's Monty Williams. And rebounded by Loy Vaught. The officials confer the Clippers will maintain possession. And a very bright-looking Charles Oakley. And nice to see Charles back around. He's been working out, getting ready, hopes to return sometime in late February.
I know in today's papers the reference was made to Charles working out with the weights, and then Pat Riley describing Charles and his conditioning looks good, his weight looks good, and then he said he's lonely. Charles now welcomed back by his teammates, back in the focus of the Knicks fans as well.
And Hoffer called for the foul. Woods off the spin, drawing the foul. As Charles saying he longs to get back into action. He's about a month removed from the surgery. and still a good 4 or 5 weeks away from playing, but he says he is making progress.
You know, Charles is one of the very rare players who can have their team go out and win 13 or 14 games, which is really the way to be forgotten if you're not part of that 13 wins in 14 games. Charles, one of the few that will be welcomed back, no matter how many Knick victories take place in his absence, as a major asset.
Vaught giving the Clippers a 6-4 lead. Charles made the statement yesterday, saying he kind of hopes the guys will have him back, saying they really don't need me the way they have been playing. An 8-game win streak, a 5-game win streak, 13 of 14 overall.
He's a very self-effacing individual, as we know from seeing him up close all these years. As Ewing gets down real low for that jump shot. I believe, Marv, that Charles actually had a sincere note to that. It wasn't just a joke, you know. He's a very honest, candid guy.
I think in this case, although the Knicks, in the absence of Oakley and Herb Williams, have been able to find some playing time for people like Monty Williams and Anthony Bonner and Anthony Mason, who have thrived under the conditions. But I think with Oakley in the lineup, they would have accomplished the same.
We'll never know, though, will we?
No, we won't. That's why I say it. Prove it. Here's Harper for 3. Yes. So the Knicks now lead 9-6, and Derek Harper continues his three-point onslaught. He's made at least one three-point shot in 15 consecutive games. Halfway through the first quarter, and the Knicks have a 3-point lead. Here's Murray going to the jump hook. Monty Williams had it knocked away by Charles Outlaw. Last touch by Malik Sealy. It'll be Knick ball, and the Knicks call for time.
On workmanship and materials. Call Jarrow Builders today at 1-800-REMODEL and begin to work with the best.
We were talking a moment ago about Charles Oakley, and earlier this evening Al Troutwig talked with Charles and asked how has the conditioning program been progressing?
Well, after I got the cast on, I think that, you know, it was swollen up and ashy, and you can see where they cut it at. But right now, it's really doing well. You know, I'm working out, and, you know, I'm taking my time, but I'm working out and, you know, putting a little pressure on it and riding the bike. And, you know, it just, you know, I'm not going to rush it. Like I said, I'm going to make sure it's right, and then I'm going to come back.
Progressing? John, that was correct pronunciation. You're progressing. You're all over me.
I tend to like progressing, but you can stay with it, Marv.
Well,
and,
it
as
depends.
time goes on, you might get some interesting reactions.
Monty Williams with the tip. And the Knicks now lead 11-6.
This guy.
Depends what area of the city that
right.
come from.
And that we're both from Brooklyn. We've gone in different directions.
7-0 run by the Knicks. And the foul is called on Vaught. Offensive foul, the push on Loy Vaught. And that's a quick 3 on Vaught. Well, Bill Fitch will make a change. Tony Massenberg in his third NBA season out of Maryland. Last season played for Barcelona in the Spanish League. Massenberg has been getting the minutes recently. 25 minutes last night, 11 points in Boston.
Well, the team with the worst record in the NBA just lost their leading scorer and leading rebounder, probably for the rest of the half. I would say they're in deeper trouble than they were when they got here.
Very good point.
Very keen, huh?
Woods on the foul.
Now, you know, Pat Riley hopes this doesn't turn into a Miami at Madison Square Garden about a month ago Knicks game, where the Knicks struggle and end up fighting hard with Charlotte tomorrow, at Charlotte, and Phoenix here Sunday.
Well, that has to be his main concern, that the Knicks players do not take this lightly. Charles Smith in a post-up. And last touched by the Clippers.
Unfortunately, the Knicks are starting out the game shooting poorly from the field.
The Knicks, though, have scored the last 7 points. They come off the victory over Portland here on Tuesday night. Portland was held to 5 for 22 from the field in the fourth quarter. And the game marked the 4th time the last 5 games in which the Knicks had won after trailing going into the fourth quarter. Hopper again hits from downtown. The comeback ability that the Knicks have been showing recently, a very good sign. That was a strong point, and it talks a lot about their defense, a strong point of the Knicks club last season.
I got a kick out of, I'm sure as New York readers did also, of Pat Riley's remarks regarding the Portland game. Pat said, I'm still trying to figure out how we won the game. And he listed all the bad things that happened to the team because of the fine play of Portland in many aspects of the game, like offensive rebounding and the Knicks' poor layup attempt percentages. In support of what you say, Marv, the last, take a look at the last games with the Knicks coming back from behind and coming on strong in the fourth quarter, so much that they have won the games by substantial margins.
Charles Outlaw on the line after a foul by Charles Smith. Yes, the Knicks doing against Cleveland, Milwaukee, Miami, and those were road games. And then the game Tuesday against the Trailblazers. Charles Outlaw, a rookie out of the University of Houston. Good leaper and a solid defensive player, but the offensive end is not an area where he has excelled. And he goes only 6'8", 210 pounds. Ewing lost it. He thought he was fouled. Here's Murray putting the spin on. Lamont Murray not able to hit. Murray on the rebound. Lamont Murray, last year at this time, was being set up by a fellow by the name of Jason Kidd and led the Pac-10 in scoring as a junior, averaging 24 points per game.
Murray is also the cousin of Portland Trailblazers Tracy Murray.
Crowd greeting the entrance of Anthony Mason, replacing Monty Williams, and Anthony has been on a tear. The last 2 games, 24 points, 12 rebounds at Miami on Sunday. Had a season-high 15 rebounds against the Trailblazers on Tuesday.
Well, he's simply gone up to new levels in his playing career.
Sealy and Smith with the rebound. Starks was breaking. Smith could not get it to him. Coming up on 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter, the Knicks lead 14-10.
This is such a gross mismatch underneath the basket with Outlaw guarding Ewing. Height-wise and physically, Outlaw is just so overmatched, and yet he's competing so hard, and every jump shot that Patrick Ewing takes, you know, is a victory for Outlaw.
This is similar to what Ewing faced against Dallas last Friday night. Ewing is fouled, and he will go to the line. Foul committed by Murray, who was trying to help out. Now, in college at Houston, Charles Outlaw was a power forward and at times a small forward. There he is, Charles Bo Outlaw.
Right now, with 3 minutes to go in the first quarter, he has 4 rebounds.
The Knicks 15 and the Clippers 10.
Patrick Ewing has really been shooting his foul shots well of late. Portland the other night also had a solid game, 7 of 8 from the line.
6-point Knick lead. Randy Woods met by Charles Smith to try to draw the foul. Here's Outlaw. Well, Charles Outlaw has hit 2 out of 2. He has 6 points, and the Knicks now lead by 4. Starks for 3.
Thanks to Anthony Mason's quick hands, the Knicks get another shot now.
Now Malik Sealy guarding Patrick Ewing. Hopper trying to get it to him. Smith for three. Rebound Ewing. And last touch by the Clippers. It will be Nick Ball, but first, the Clippers take a timeout.
Busy period now for the Knicks. Tomorrow night they're in Charlotte. Knicks game night at 7:30. Sunday, an NBC game here at Madison Square Garden against the Phoenix Suns. And then Tuesday, the Golden State Warriors, the 4 Golden State Warriors will be here. Knicks game night at 7 p.m. on Tuesday.
Yes, Golden State has had a nightmarish season. 11-25. Derek Harper with 8 points. And the Knicks now lead 18-12 with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. Golden State has lost 9 of its last 10, 3-14 on the road.
Well, this man with the ball, Randy Woods, in the lineup tonight has some tough job with him. Charles Smith with a terrific block.
Able to strip Massenberg. Illegal defense against the Clippers. So that is a warning for the Los Angeles Clippers. This is game 3 of a 6-game road trip that continues at Washington, Detroit, and at Golden State. Saturday they play the Bullets in Washington. Hopper for Starks. Coming up short on that 3-point attempt. Back comes Woods for the Clippers.
Boy, after Rod Strickland's visit here the other night, this is an off night for Derek Harper, starting out with Woods. He was expecting to see Pooh Richardson, a tough player. But Woods is right now in his 3rd season. Tonight gets his 2nd career start. This guy isn't used to much playing time, and certainly the pressure that Derek Harper will put up.
Foul committed by Starks. Gilbert Davis. Anthony Bonner come on, replacing John Starks, and Charles Smith. Smith 0 for 4, did not score. And Starks 1 for 3, hit the 3-point shot. Knicks lead 18-12. We come up on 1 minute left in this first quarter. Sealy trying to post up and facing the triple team, threw it away. Ewing overthrows Hopper. Patrick Ewing coming off a team-high 5 assists on Tuesday against Portland. But that time had too much on it. Talking about Randy Woods, he was a #1 draft pick back in 1992. Team with Lionel Simmons at LaSalle. But he is really a shooting guard, and the Clippers have tried to make him into a 3-point guard. Woods coming up short on that shot.
That was a mystery choice by the Clippers when they drafted him first.
Davis. Gilbert Davis, after the good stretch, seen his shooting off the last couple of games. Here's Outlaw. Charles Outlaw leads the Clippers with 8 points. Charles Outlaw coming into tonight averaging under 6 points per game. Final seconds of the first quarter. Hopper for Ewing. And a foul with 2 seconds remaining in the quarter. Ewing will go to the line. Foul on Sealy.
This is the kind of game that calls for the Knicks to make a lot of extra passes. Playing against a team that just doesn't have the goods, so make it easy on yourself. Pass, 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 and you get the open shots. Problem is the Knicks are not blistering the nets with their outside game right now, with the exception of Derek Harper.
Ewing is now 3 for 5 at the line. Knicks lead 19-14. Here's Woods from center court. 1 here at the Garden. The Knicks over the Clippers by 5.
The New York State Lotto jackpot is now $33 million. Thank you.
New York Lotto. Hey, you never know.
The latest winner of $1,000 a week for life, Luis Reyes.
He can do it, I can do it. If Luis can win, I can win.
I'm gonna go buy a ticket.
Now it's my turn to win.
Win for life. You keep living, we'll keep paying.
I'm gonna keep playing because I'm gonna win.
The house is this room, brick and mortar. A home is what will take place in this room when we're all finished. What takes place inside of a house really makes it a home, and what takes place inside of one of our stores makes it a special place for the customers. What we are about is service. We're in the yes business. Yes, we accept American Express. The last thing that Home Depot is into is putting limits on customers.
The American Express card is welcomed at the Home Depot and lots of other places close to home.
If you thought you missed Toyota's giant 96-hour marathon, it's back by popular demand. Only 4 more days to get big savings on every Toyota. Like this great lease deal on the all-new Toyota Tercel. At a very affordable $169 a month, you can't beat the value in a Tercel. Totally new for $95 with more power, sportier looks, even more safety features. You can still get the deal and the Tercel you want, but don't miss out this time. The 96-hour marathon incentives absolutely end January 31st. Make tracks for your Toyota dealer now.
A trip back in time? No, it's Las Vegas, a world of excitement in one amazing place.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Toyota. I love what you do for me, Toyota.
Well, you must say that the Clippers have come in here competing very hard after their big win last night in Boston. A loose ball situation right into the hands of Randy Woods, and Charles Outlaw at the other end makes a very difficult shot look easy. That was a Perry Ellis look from high atop Madison Square Garden.
Down in the first quarter, the Clippers 6 of 18 and the Knicks 6 of 17. So neither club lighting it up. 6 turnovers committed by the Knicks, 5 by the Clippers. It's the Knicks 19 and the Clippers 14. Second quarter, getting started. Derek Crawford and Hubert Davis at the guards. Patrick Ewing up front with Anthony Mason and Anthony Bonner. Mason posting up. Mason putting the move on Massenberg. Bonner was let free. And last touch by the Clippers. Coming into tonight, the Knicks at 25 and 13, 6.5 games behind Orlando. Orlando's home for the Chicago Bulls. Ewing. Oh, Patrick Ewing with his second field goal. He is 8. And the Knicks have a 7-point advantage.
He's just too big for the Clippers.
Outlaw off the fake and drew the foul. Beautiful fake by Outlaw as he whipped around Ewing. Mason reaching in, picked up the personal.
Well, the advantage the smaller, quicker player has when he gets the big man like Ewing outside is clear. One big step, and his quickness won that battle.
However, Outlaw at the line, 45 for 95. It spells out to a 47%. That is his major asset. He can leap, he can block shots, and he is 9th in the NBA in that department. Shade over 2 blocks per game, but he has certainly held his own here in the first half.
Well, when you see a man at that intensity level, and from what we've seen here in the first quarter, you know that he really knows how to work.
Ewing again taking advantage. His second consecutive stuff, and the Knicks lead by 8. Outlaw breaking for the basket, and now comes out to set the pick. Bonner on the steal. That was intended as a pick and roll, and Bonner is called for a traveling violation.
A lot of little imperfections here for the Knicks in the first quarter. They're working hard, but they're not as smooth as Pat Riley would like them to be.
Ewing sitting down, replaced by Smith. 10 points for Ewing. And now Gary Grant has come on at the point guard position, replacing Randy Woods. Massenberg and Seeley shooting. Air ball. Handled by Murray. Rebound Smith. Clippers get back. Davis surrounded. Got to get it out. And the Knicks regroup. High number of turnovers. We're early second quarter. Only 2 minutes gone by. Davis with the step. Davis, yes, and it counts. So Davis will go to the line. He was fouled by Malik Seeley, his second personal.
Well, everyone's guarding against the jump shooting prowess of Hubert Davis. Now he goes to the drive for a little versatility and does a nice job. Another look from up on top. You see how Hubert got it done. Hubert last night had his three-point shooting record tied in a game featuring his old school North Carolina against North Carolina State. Dante Calabria, Florida State rather, excuse me. Dante Calabria had 8 3-point shots and tied Hubert's record.
The Knicks now lead 26-15. Grant couldn't find the shot. Shot clock is at 5. Murray played by Bonner. And the rebound handled by Mason. Mason running the floor. And loses the ball. It's a rare miscue off the dribble by Anthony Mason.
Well, he didn't keep that body between the ball and the defensive man.
Grant fires it up and hits the 3. And they call the general, Gary Grant, one-time starter. He has settled into a role as a third guard coming off the bench. Knicks now lead 26-18. Marv Albert, John Andre, Al Troutman, Walt Clyde Frazier will join us at halftime from Madison Square Garden. It's the 100th consecutive sellout for the Knicks. Charles Smith was stopped by Charles Outlaw. Smith felt he was fouled, and a technical foul has been called on Charles Smith. George Tolliver did not like the tone from Charles and hit him with the tee.
Well, as you might say, Charles asked for it. Charles working down low against shorter people and doesn't go up with the force necessary to be successful, with a size difference that Charles enjoys. But when he goes up, it makes it a little easy the way he presented that ball to the official, and he had a lot to say as he turned around.
Grant, an excellent free throw shooter, on the line for the technical.
Charles Smith, meanwhile, after his fine earlier season play, has cooled off greatly. Over the last 10 games, he's shooting at a 36% clip from the field, and this evening he's 0 for 5 so far.
The Knicks lead by 7. Grant on a quick release, called for steps. Grant receiving the ball off the screen and then walked. So the ball back to the Knicks. Here's Starks going to the left hand and rebounded by Massenberg. Murray from deep. That's a 3-point attempt. Starks with the rebound. Davis for 3. And back come the Clippers. Terry DeHare, who just checked in. Now playing the backcourt with Gary Grant. And Grant lost it to Smith. Starks chasing it down. Well, that eradicates the fast break. Davis for 3. And these two clubs are just running up and down the court. 4 minutes gone by in the second quarter. Oh, Murray has turned back. Murray got the step, and he was rejected.
I would say Pat Riley would readily admit that the Knicks are playing to the level of their competition so far in this game.
And the foul on Davis. It will be a non-shooting foul. Timeout taken by the Knicks with 7:32 left in the half.
And next week is my 5th wedding anniversary. It's unbelievable.
On to the Saturday, 7:30 p.m. here on MSG. The Rangers off to a slow start, John. 1 up, 3 down. Go up against the Quebec Nordiques in Quebec City. You'll see it here on MSG. Earlier today, though, at Madison Square Garden, the Rangers and Mark Messier finally coming to terms, and a surprise visitor to the Mark Messier news conference, Patrick Ewing, congratulating Mark. Reportedly, 2-year deal plus the team's option for a 3rd year at reportedly $5 to $6 million a year. Now, it might, another fact, John, that might not be known outside of those on the inside as part of the deal. Mark Messier insisting Sal Red Light Messina relinquish his color commentating duties at the end of the season.
I think
it's sad. It's very emotional for me to even report this.
Mark is a very team-oriented guy, has obviously gotten out of bounds. He's off the rink on that one, Mark.
You're coming out for Sal.
Absolutely.
Knicks 26 and the Clippers 19. 5 minutes gone by in the second as Charles Smith connects on his first field goal. He missed his first 5 shots. And how about the shooting of Lamond Murray, who has had a good rookie season, 1 for 11 in this first half. And he's still on the court. Grant played by Davis. Massenberg on a post-up. Here's Outlaw. Mason did not go for the fake. Shot clock down to 2 as Massenberg hits. And the Knicks now lead 28 to 21.
What a funny jump shot. Seems to shoot that at chest level.
Strange release.
Yeah.
Tony is not noted for his jump shooting. Coming up on 6 minutes remaining in the first half. Bonner called for traveling again.
It looked like Anthony just ran out of options. No one wanted the ball. No one was an obvious recipient of a pass, so he decided to take a stroll.
And now the rookie from Nebraska, Eric Piatkowski, first-round draft pick. Man who can shoot and score, in particular in transition. Has come on. He was the Clippers' second selection on the first round after the pick of Murray. Illegal defense call for the first time against the Knicks. And Piatkowski will inbound. Nice pass to Hare. Able to hit. Good pass from Grant. And the Knicks now lead 28-23. A really sloppy first half by the New York Knicks. Offensive foul on Mason. I would think this would be the major concern going into today's game on the part of Pat Riley and the coaching staff. Very difficult to get up for games like this one, particularly when you've won 5 in a row, 13 of 14. Earlier in the streak, they won 8 in a row, as you mentioned earlier, John. Game at Charlotte tomorrow night. Sunday afternoon, back home for Phoenix. Just normal reaction.
Well, the only thing, though, Marv, is they've got so many open shots, and that's what you expect them to make at a much better percentage. I mean, there's no shot-blocking presence. There's no intimidating aspect to the Clippers' defense. Make the shots.
Davis with the block on Grant.
I mean, if you're Pat Riley, that's how you got to be thinking. The Knicks are playing hard, but they're just not getting it done as well as they should be.
Ewing. And a holding foul called on Outlaw. That's his second. And here is Eric Riley, a one-time member of the Houston Rockets, who does have the size, but he is considered a project. Riley for Outlaw. He was with the Rockets last year, did not play much appeared sporadically in 47 games. Riley now guarding Ewing, goes right at him. Eric Riley was originally drafted by the Dallas Mavericks on the second round and was traded for Popeye Jones, a deal that has turned out to be all Dallas.
Riley has played the fewest minutes of any member of this team also this year, just barely over 100 minutes in 41 games.
Blocking foul on Davis. Here comes Hopper. So Hubert Davis departs with now a change. John Starks will sit down. Starks with 3 points. That's it on that early three. The Knicks lead by 7. Coming up on 4 minutes to go in the half. And pass from Riley. Hopper on the break, hit by Riley. He was looking to draw the contact. That's an old Walt Frazier move. And try to hit. Not able to put it down, but he was fouled by Eric Riley.
Well, Harper's good defense on this play results in the Knicks getting an opportunity. Derek got a little lucky actually on that one. Patrick Ewing wasn't keeping at the pace that Harper was going at, so Derek decided to keep it himself. Derek very happy, I'm sure, to see Rod Strickland leave town the other night.
Rod put on a show, and Derek Harper was certainly upset about it. It's very rare that a player will score that many points against one of the better defensive guards in the NBA.
You know what I thought was classy, though, Marv, and that was that Harper said how much he enjoyed watching Strickland. He said his moves were great, and he really enjoyed it. He said,
well, to a point.
I realized, he said, I didn't put enough defensive pressure on him, obviously.
Bajkowski for the three-point attempt. The Knicks 32, and the Clippers 23. And Davis coughed it up. Grant for Massenberg. Knicks 32 and the Clippers 25. Clippers have scored only 11 points in this second quarter. The Knicks have scored only 13. Davis for three. Yes. Gilbert Davis from downtown, and the Knicks now lead 35-25.
Clippers trying to get good shots in any fashion, whether it be jump shooting or cutting to the basket. They don't have a center who sits in that low post area.
Grant. Gary Grant. And the Knicks now lead by 8. Timeout taken by the Knicks with 2:47 remaining in the first half.
Stay tuned after most Knicks and Rangers home games and hear from some of the biggest stars in sports and showbiz. Mike Francesa and Kathleen Murphy host live from the play-by-play right here on MSG.
If you're shopping around for a new car, it makes perfect sense to visit the one dealership that displays the most popular brands. Hi, I'm Bob Neisner for all my friends at East Hills Chrysler Jeep in Roslyn. Whether you want to buy or lease a brand new Chrysler, Plymouth, Jeep, or Eagle, you're sure to find what you're looking for when you visit East Hills Chrysler Jeep. It's the one place you'll find a complete inventory without disappointment. And when it comes to price, you'll find my friends at East Hills Chrysler Jeep very, very customer friendly.
News 12's all-new morning lineup. More weather and traffic to help you get your day started. More business news from Wall Street. More of what's happening in your community. And more of the news that's made us Long Island's first choice for local news. It all kicks off at 6 a.m. News 12's morning lineup. What you need, when you need it most.
Looking to have some remodeling work done in your home or office? Then call 1-800-REMODEL today and get in touch with the experienced people at Jarrow Building Industries. When you call Jarrow at 1-800-REMODEL, you'll be working with talented professionals who will take you through every critical step of your remodeling project, designed to fit your budget. Jarrow Builders has been providing quality remodeling work for over 29 years and offers a 3-year warranty on workmanship and materials. Call Jarrow Builders today at 1-800-REMODEL and begin to work with the best.
Oh, Hubert Davis helping the Knicks extend their better playing moments right now with his jump shooting. No pressure on him, no pressure on him. DeHare finally comes up a little bit too late, though. Hubert hitting his first three-point shot of the game. AT&T says the long-distance shooting of the Knicks has been excellent over the last 14 games. An amazing 43%. The Knicks outscoring their opponents by almost 13 points a game from three-point range. So the defensive players on the opposition teams have got to guard the Knicks three-point shooters, and that makes Patrick Ewing's life a lot easier.
Hopper got the step and then tried to hit the cutting Ewing. Saved by Smith. Charles Smith hitting his last two after missing his first five, and the Knicks now lead 37-27. 2.5 remaining in this first half. Piatkowski off the mark, and last touch by Davis.
Piatkowski impressed the NBA last year during the Desert Classic in Phoenix at the end of the season, where the less than top picks play and compete for upgrading of their positions in the upcoming draft. He was the MVP of that several-day period of intense play.
And as a result, he was a first-round draft pick, a second first-rounder for the Clippers. And that is knocked out of bounds by the Knicks with 2 minutes remaining in the half. Grant and DeHare in the backcourt. Riley with Piatkowski and Massenberg up front. Piatkowski got the step, could not hit the reverse. Smith with the rebound.
Charles Smith showing some good quickness to that rebound.
Ewing had it poked away. Davis recovered. Nice return pass from Hopper. Smith. Ewing. And he had it stolen. Batted away by Massenberg. Massenberg. Knicks with the ball and a 10-point lead.
Marv, would you agree? I know I'm setting you up to disagree with me.
Now, John.
But this is a very fast half.
Yes, I actually do.
Thank you.
Off the turnover to Hare, going all the way and stopped by Smith. Well, the reason is very few free throws. Beautiful pass from Hopper. So Patrick Ewing with 14 points, and the Knicks now lead 39-27. The Clippers have been to the line only 5 times, and the Knicks to the line 9 times, but it is moving swiftly. Timeout has been called with 42 seconds to go in the half. A 20-second timeout taken by Bill Fitch. For Bill Fitch, it is his 22nd year in the NBA, his 34th season as a coach, starting with his alma mater, Coe College of Iowa. He was the NBA's youngest coach when he was hired by the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 1970. Now he's the league's second oldest, as we mentioned earlier, second oldest to the 63-year-old Dick Motta. Yes, a look at the ups and downs in the coaching career of Bill Fitch, who did win an NBA title with the Boston Celtics, went to the NBA Finals with the 85-86 Houston Rockets.
Bill is also the 9th coach in the 11-year history of the LA Clippers. And Marv, I was surprised. I didn't realize he's coached more games than anyone in NBA history. This is his 1,764th NBA game that he's coaching.
Also the Clippers' 9th coach the last 11 years.
He's also, Marv, continue to drive on the Bill Fitch life story, the 5th leading winning coach in the NBA with 851 career wins.
I frankly have heard enough.
There is no more.
Riley was pushed with 26 seconds remaining in the half. And yes, there is some more on Bill Fitch.
Aha! The negative side.
911 defeats. That's what you get for hanging around that long.
Bill missed the game. He thirsted for it. He had enough golf. and felt enough energy and love of the sport to get back in, and it's nice to see him back. He's an asset and a refreshing guy and a real career basketball man. Just ask the New Jersey Nets. Bill had rough times in his 3 years in New Jersey, but everywhere else I think he's been pretty positive.
Bill Fitch, as you mentioned, spending a lot of time on the golf course this past summer. In fact, Mike Fratello of the Cleveland Cavaliers had invited Bill to training camp. Coaches will do that every once in a while just to get another viewpoint, and Bill was all set to go. And then in a surprise, late in the summer, got the offer and took the job as head coach of the Clippers. Down to 15 seconds remaining in the half. And the foul called on Woods. Well, the fewest points against the Knicks in a half this season. 31 by the Milwaukee Bucks. Second half in Milwaukee, January the 13th. Clippers with only 29 points with 11 seconds to go.
And 29% field goal percentage for the first half.
Yes, 11 of 38 from the floor. Final seconds. Harper got the step. The tip is good by Davis. So at the half, it's the Knicks 41 and the Clippers 29.
Well, nice drive by Harper, and Hubert, who recently surprised himself when he said it publicly that he got an offensive tip in. He did it again tonight by hanging around the boards.
The Los Angeles Clippers with only 15 points in the second quarter. Only 29 points for the half. The Knicks with a 41-29 lead.
And next week is my 5th wedding anniversary. It's unbelievable.
And lead by 12. It's the worst half against them all year, and I'll be back with Walt Frazier to talk about it. But first, let's go to Bob Page for some other stuff.
Thank you, Al. Some very strong comments there about the Clippers. The Knicks have that big Super Bowl Sunday noon tip-off in the Garden against the Phoenix Suns. Suns in the midst of a very tough road schedule now. 3 games in less than 4 nights. They're at Philadelphia tomorrow night. This evening, they're at Indianapolis, where they lead the Pacers by 2 at halftime. Sir Charles with 9 first-quarter rebounds for the Suns, who won 5 straight games, 7 straight on the road. Dan Marley's long jumper gave Phoenix an early 20-16 lead. They were up 24-18 going into the second quarter. The Pacers suffered a big injury there when Wayman Tisdale locked arms with Dale Davis, got the hoop. Davis crashed to the floor with a dislocated shoulder. His will be a key loss for Indiana. At Orlando, one-time Knicks forward Phil Jackson and the Chicago Bulls providing the opportunity. Corey Blunt here coming up with a steal from the Magic off Shaquille O'Neal, all alone for the dunk, and puts it home. Chicago with an early lead. He started this ball game for Scottie Pippen. Why? Well, if you missed it from earlier today, solid citizen Scottie was fined $6,000 and suspended for this one game without pay for that chair-throwing temper tantrum of Tuesday. The final tabulation, the fan balloting for the February 12th All-Star Game at Phoenix announced today. There are your East starters, Pippen, Hill, O'Neal, Hardaway, and Reggie Miller. And for the West, Charles Barkley, the leading vote-getter there, with Sean Kemp, Elijah Wan in the backcourt of Latrell Sprewell and Dan Marley. I'll have more right after these messages.
Sports Desk is brought to you by Head & Shoulders and Head & Shoulders Dry Scalp, because great hair can't have flakes.
In 5 minutes, Eva.
Okay, you ready?
And the O.J. Simpson trial has now been recessed until Monday. More from us this evening and every night at 11 o'clock from the MSG Sports Desk. Back to courtside right after this.
Well, many have tried and failed. It appears Nissan has found a cure for the common cold. fast relief, see your nearest Nissan dealer. Lease the Pathfinder XE for $319 a month for 24 months with $1,750 down.
Person needs to send resume to New York. Wants to make a big impression. Goes to post office. Finds out priority mail is a smart solution. Resume gets noticed. Person gets job. Now, if you can only get a cab. Team needs new jerseys. Person has to deliver them overnight. Goes to post office. Finds express mail is a smart solution. Guarantees delivery. Jerseys arrive on time. Person avoids getting sacked.
This Saturday, January 28th, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Every item in every Nobody Beats the Wiz store is on sale, or it's yours free. Nobody Beats the Wiz.
One-Toa Mitsubishi unleashes the power of the price wizard.
Your price is my command, and I'm granting powerful deals.
The 95 Galant ES at prices you've only dreamed of. 95 Eclipses at prices you won't find in Newsday. 95 Montero leasing at hundreds less. One-Toa Mitsubishi sells and leases more in 1 month than most dealers do all year.
One-Toa Mitsubishi, put my power to work for you.
To where everything Jeep is in plentiful supply right here at East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. Hi, I'm Bob Nystrom for my good friends at East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. Whether you want to buy or lease the luxurious and practical Jeep Grand Cherokee or the sporty Jeep Wrangler, the car that legends are made of, you're certain to find the best deals anywhere right here at East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. East Hills Jeep Eagle in Roslyn. Big selection, low prices, and plenty of smiling faces.
Back at the Garden where the Knicks lead the Clips at the half by 12. Now the leading scorer summary is brought to you by Eagle. Test drive an Eagle at your Tri-State Jeep and Eagle dealer or call 1-800-2-TEST-EAGLE. The numbers, please. Patrick Ewing leading the way with 14, 5 of 7 from the floor with 6 rebounds. Derek Harper's got 10 with a couple of threes. Hubert Davis with an 8-point boost off the bench. Charles Smith struggling 2 for 8. John Starks quiet 1 for 4. Over to the story for Los Angeles. Charles Outlaw, 9 points he has to lead the way with 4 rebounds, but he's no match for Patrick Ewing in the middle. Grant with 6, Massenberg with 4, and 5 with 2, as Bill Fitch went with 10 players on his bench tonight. Al Troutwick back with Walt Clyde Frazier. And Clyde, I've gone on the limb to make this my second guaranteed win night of the season. You want to join in with me on this one?
Yeah, I think so, Al. It has all the ambiance, folks, of a preseason game. The crowd not into the game. The Knicks lethargic as well.
And they have the way of making even a good team like the Knicks look less than good. Let's take a look at the highlights. They're brought to you by Minolta and their 135EX. Minolta, the official camera of the Garden. Clyde, some creativity from the Mason low post.
Yeah, it was hard to come up with these highlights, but we found a little pizzazz here. Watch Mason spin along the baseline. Always a cardinal sin whenever you give up the baseline. So Ewing will be the recipient with the stuff shot.
And as I said, there's very little L.A. can do when Patrick Ewing gets in position down low.
Yeah, Ewing hustling back in transition. Harper leading the team in dishes, 6 a game. Again, Patrick with the tomahawk stuff.
Eric Harper's been in a little mini slump. It's good to see him find the touch beyond the three-point line.
Yeah, he was humiliated in the previous game against Strickland. So Harper redeeming himself tonight. Good perimeter shooter by Harp drilling this one.
Clyde, you're the perfect man to ask. Is Charles Outlaw the best name in the NBA?
It's one of the best.
It's up there.
And he's had almost a career game for him. He does a good job against Ewing, and this time very active on the glass. He's 6'8", about 210.
So that's the video highlight recap of this first half. It's hard to believe Knicks score 41 and they're up 12. It doesn't happen like that in many games.
You're right.
All right, well, it's a guaranteed win night. I've gotten the endorsement of Clyde, and as Marv would say, how nice. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment.
The Rangers hit the road to take on Joe Sakic and the Quebec Nordiques Saturday night, right here on MSG.
Save me! Save me! Save me!
Solutions for you. And by Mobile, the station that helps you by accepting more credit and ATM cards than any other station.
The New York Knicks lead the Los Angeles Clippers 41-29. It's taken years and some exhaustive research, but having seen the first half, we have discovered the worst job in the NBA. Rory Marcus has to call these Clippers games on the radio, and guess what? He's forced to do it alone. And Marv and John have had some challenges in their careers, and this second half will be right up there. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you, Al. You know, I began my Knick broadcast career doing the games by myself, end up talking to yourself and providing the answers, John, which actually can be nice at times.
And that's why I wandered into your life in 1972. I felt bad for you.
All right, the Knicks 44% shooting, three-point range. Knicks continuing the touch from downtown, and they've had the edge off the boards, 22-16. 13 turnovers for the Knicks, 10 for the Clippers. Leading to this, Clippers 13 points off the Knick errors.
You gotta like Outlaw. He's doing a heck of a job at 6'8" against a situation in which he's overmatched greatly. He's competing very well, and the Knicks started to get a little more efficient at the end of the first half.
Ewing strip as this third quarter gets underway. Only 29 points in the first half for the Clippers. Fewest points against the Knicks this season. The previous low, 31 by Milwaukee a couple of weeks back. 29 points, incidentally, John, not a low for the season for the Clippers. They were held to 26 by Portland back in December, mid-December. Lloyd Vaught back on the floor for the Clippers. Went out early after picking up 3 fouls, thus played only 6 minutes in the first half. He is now guarding Charles Smith. And Vaught with the rebound. Here's Woods racing down, finding Murray, and it counts at the foul. Lamont Murray, the rookie from the University of California, only 1 for 11 in the first half, and he now has an opportunity for a three-point play.
Nice setup here by Woods. Murray going strong to the basket. A lottery pick last year, the 7th player chosen in the draft.
The Knicks lead 41-31. Monty Williams posting up and then try to shovel it. Another Knick turnover. John, this will not go down in the category as one of the thrillers of the season. But I know you're pumped and you're giving it your all.
I'm up, Marv. I was happy to see your buddy Richard Lewis and Bob Costas here earlier at the half. Anyway, they were here. They were spotted earlier, but I don't know. Their seats are empty now. Are they being L.A. types?
Monty Williams lost the handle. And here is Sealy. Well, the Clippers battling back. Yes, the celebrity row has been swept clean. I don't recall to our left. Here's Hopper. And back comes Vaughn. The Knick lead is 8. Vaught with the turnaround. John Starks, Eric Hopper in the backcourt. Charles Smith, Patrick Ewing, Monty Williams up front. Ewing backing Outlaw. It counts and the foul. And John, the reaction along Celebrity Row.
I suspect, though, Marv, those lucky people are somewhere in the building checking it out. We see Patrick Ewing moving in close for a shot that makes Pat Riley happy.
3-point play for Ewing. And the Knicks now lead 44-33. 3 minutes gone by in the third quarter.
Come back, come back, come back.
Monty Williams for Derek Hopper for Patrick Ewing. Blocked. The block by Lamont Murray. It will be Nick Ball. Well, Bob Costas looking very much into the game, and Dick Ebersol, the president of NBC Sports, who took exception, incidentally, to your remark of L.A. types.
I know he's written it on a cardboard, something to the effect, waving it at us. The L.A. types are in question here.
That's a goaltend. The basket counts. Monty Williams will receive credit, and the Knicks now lead 46-33.
Although, Marv, I have to admit that your boss, Dick Ebersol, came by at halftime.
One of several.
One of several. I thought he was your immediate boss. Came by at halftime and said he's been to 2 Knicks games in the last 2 years, both of them Clippers games, and seems to be a problem there with a man who's so astute in the area of sports knowledge.
There is a judgment problem, obviously.
Right.
Bob and Dick passing a note that they were at a monitor elsewhere in the building evaluating your work, John.
Which drove them back to their seats, right?
And that's an offensive foul called on Ewing. And for Patrick Ewing, his third. To make it 14 wins the last 15 games, trying to make it 6 straight. LA Clippers coming off the victory in Boston last night. Ewing with the steal. Ewing.
Oh, he wanted to dunk. He wanted it bad. He was so frustrated from the last play.
Murray gets inside and he's fouled. Hit from behind by Charles Smith. So Lamont Murray will shoot a couple. Murray has been selected to play in the rookie game at All-Star Weekend in Phoenix. He was the 7th selection overall in the draft.
Doing a nice job, too, when you look at his position with the other rookies in the NBA. 3rd leading scorer among rookies.
Had his difficulties today. 1 for 11 in the first half. 2 of 14 overall. Knicks 46 and the Clippers 35. Hopper. Derek Hopper. He's hit 4 out of 7. 12 points, and the Knicks lead by 13. Randy Woods, 3rd year out of LaSalle, guarded by Derek Hopper. Malik Sealy. Charles Outlaw with a wild shot. Left the line by Vaught, then he lost it. Clippers able to get back. Smith. Rebounded by Outlaw. Shot that time thrown up by Vaught. Monty Williams. Beautiful lead pass by Derek Hopper. And Bill Fitch calling for time. 6.5 left. 3rd quarter. The Knicks by 15.
And by Ewing, Derek Hopper pushes that ball up, and Monty Williams finishes the break nicely. That's one of the things that Pat Riley was pointing out the other night against Portland. The Knicks were only 10 for 27 on layups.
The television crew of the Los Angeles Clippers, Ralph Lawler and Bill Walton on KCOP back in Los Angeles. And those of you who are with us on a regular basis, whereas Malik Sealy is able to hit that from time to time. We like to check in with other telecasts, get a sampling of how guys around the league handle their teams. I'm sure not an easy task for the voices of the Clippers. Outlaw called for the goaltend. Clippers come in with 7 wins in 41 games.
Outlaw among the league leaders in shot blocking. Looks like an easy 2 for Ewing. What an intimidating block, though.
The Knicks lead 52-37. This is their biggest lead of the night. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the third. Outlaw off the fake. Did you say he did not have decent offensive moves?
No, I said he didn't have enough inches in his body to deal with Ewing. But he's impressive. He's doing a great job.
11.6 rebounds for Outlaw. 13-point lead for the Knicks. Monty Williams. And rebounded by Loy Vaughn. Outlaw taking the lead from Woods and is fouled by Smith.
I love that pass by Woods. Another look at Randy Woods. Bounce pass leads him perfectly to the hoop. Outlaw gets fouled.
The Knicks have won 14 of the last 16 games against the Clippers, including a sweep last year. Charles Outlaw, 2 out of 5 at the line, and a very poor free throw shooter, as we mentioned earlier, only 47% at the line.
He better spend some time with Anthony Bonner if he knows what he needs in his game. Bonner's made the big turnaround in that department.
And a foul is called on Sealy. And let's get the LA Clipper point of view. We'll check in with KCOP television in Los Angeles, and the television voices of the Clippers, Ralph Lawler and Bill Walton.
Ewing back to Williams. Harper calls for it, will run the offense. Pick and roll, 4th foul on Patrick Ewing. Number 4 on Patrick, using his ample backside to help him with that pick, and he picks up number 4. That'll bring him out of the game, bring Anthony Mason in. Guess who's on their bench? Greg Kite. Remember him, Clipper fans? Popular Clipper player a number of years ago.
What a great team guy Greg Kite is. $2 million guaranteed over the next couple years from Orlando. Or New York picks him up when Herb Williams breaks his hand. Greg Kite making the minimum from the Knicks, but he can still feed his 8 kids.
Murray, shoot it and get it. Lamont Murray starting to find the mark. He has 6 1/4. Clippers back within 11.
And with Ewing in foul trouble, perfect time for the Clippers to go on a run here. Because the Knicks certainly will miss their leading scorer. Have to find offense somewhere else.
The team that won't quit. Harper goes inside to Charles Smith. Always fouled hard by Outlaw, and that's 4 on Bo. So Outlaw gets his 4th foul, is the only Clipper in double figures scoring with 11, and that hurts. It hurts him as much defensively as anything else. Is Charles Smith, who had All-Star written all over him as a Clipper, blends in here as a role player. That's hard to believe.
Tough to beat out Ewing in terms of dominance for the team. And Ewing's not the easiest guy to play with. He's not a fluid passer, not a real creative offensive player. A great finisher Ewing is, but you know, imagine if Charles Johnson or Charles Smith had played with a guy like Magic Johnson, how his career would be different. And
imagine if his knees hadn't gone bad on him. He's just never been the same player since recurring knee problems. It started to plague him really as soon as he came into the league. 54-41, Knicks by 13. Randy Woods pumping it, but it won't come back to him.
Injuries kill everybody in this league.
What do you know about that? Murray shoots an air ball.
Too much.
Sealy tries to save and bounce it off a Nick. Can't do so. Out it will go to New York. Anthony Bonner enters.
True to form, Riley sticks with the tight rotation of just the 8. Guys like Greg Anthony, Greg Kite, Charlie Ward, they don't get in at all. And then, of course, they got the 2 guys on the injured list, Williams and Oakley. Oakley just got his cast off last week.
Harper with Woods up in the scorer's table. Shoots for 3 off the side of the glass. Bought the rebound for L.A. Loy has only 2 points.
This seems like a happier Knick team than teams of the recent past.
They weren't too happy around Christmas time. Inside Outlaw does it again. Charles Outlaw with 13.
When you win 13 out of 14 games on their way to their 14th out of 15 on their way to Charlotte, things looking pretty bright for the Knicks.
Stark speeds inside to Mason, clears out a path and scores. Threw out that big left arm, got everybody out of there. 56-43 the Knicks. Is that legal? No. The whistle doesn't blow, it's just fine, no. Randy Woods, a beautiful feed to Lamont Murray, who passed up the easy shot.
He brought the ball back to the defense. Unbelievable.
Yep. Took it right back to him. Clippers get it back. 3-on-3. Murray for 3. Bingo! Lamont Murray. It's his 39th 3 of the year. He is 9.
Well, a sampling of the Clipper broadcast crew, Ralph Lawler, Bill Walton on KCOP in L.A. We'll be back in a moment.
I overpowered it.
Excellent.
I still haven't cleared my throat.
I respect that. Vaught called for the foul, his 4th. The Knicks 56 and the Clippers 46. And it's Vaught again, number 5. Clippers are over the foul limit, so Smith will go to the line. Charles is 2 for 2 from the line. Bill Walton referring to the Greg Kite family. Greg, a one-time LA Clipper, came out last week, at least in this area, in an article written by Fred Kerber in the New York Post, that Greg and his wife Jennifer have adopted 8 children, all of them aged 9 and under. Greg and Jennifer Kite adopting the first 2, a set of twins, when he played in Boston after a long waiting period, and then they kept rolling right along.
Well, they ran into the Pat Williams family in Orlando, who I believe are up to 18 children. If I recall, 4 of them are Pat and his wife's, and 14 are adopted children. Of course, they're all members of the family now, but what an influence Pat Williams might have had on Greg Kite. Obviously very giving people.
Starks call for the foul, his 3rd. So Sealy at the line. And the Knicks now lead 57-48. We come up on 2 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Nice pass from Starks. Massenberg with the block of Smith.
Terrific helping play by Massenberg.
Mason off the rebound. Mason is fouled. Nice return pass from Smith. Foul on Woods. Randy Woods with 5 steals. Gary Grant with 4. The Knicks with 19 turnovers coming into today's game. The Clippers leading the NBA. You may wonder about this, Scott. Leading the NBA in forcing turnovers, forcing nearly 20 per game. But the reason for that, they have been blown out of so many games, John. You look back over the season, and things tend to get sloppy in the 4th quarter, and I think that has contributed to that stat. Although this evening, these are legitimate turnovers. It's been a very sloppy game by the Knicks.
Randy Woods starting this game tonight for Pooh Richardson. You mentioned earlier, it's the 2nd start of his career, now in his 3rd season.
Shot missed by Woods. Starks and Davis in the backcourt. Mason, Bonner, and Smith on the front line. Shot clock at 7. Davis, yes. 10 points for Hubert Davis. The Knicks 61. The Clippers 48. Just under 1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Woods not presenting himself as a shooter. He's just looking to pass, so that makes it a little easier for Hubert Davis guarding him.
Massenberg ramming with Bonner has an offensive foul. So the Knicks will get it back with 42 seconds remaining third quarter. Tomorrow night, the Knicks play the Hornets in Charlotte. It's game night at 7:30. Game time at 8. Knicks losing to the Hornets here at the Garden back in late November. Foul called on Starks, his fourth. And then Sunday afternoon, it's the Knicks and the Phoenix Suns here at the Garden. Another home day next Tuesday as the Knicks face Golden State. Phoenix Suns with the best record in the West at 31-8, and they have won 5 in a row. 13-point lead for the Knicks. Murray from deep. Well, Lamont Murray has located the touch in the second half. He now has 11 points. Three-pointer for Murray, his second consecutive. 10 seconds remaining in the third. Mason. Down to 2, down to 1. Woods for 3. It will count. Randy Woods with the buzzer three-pointer. And it's down to a 7-point Knick lead.
Oh, Randy Woods getting a big workout tonight. Boy, that's an NBA 3 from last year, plus a couple of feet.
So there you are. You, the dealer, the moment of truth. Can you afford the car you've always wanted? Within minutes, you realize you can.
Lease the luxurious Cadillac DeVille. Right now, it can be yours for $499 a month for 24 months and $2,800 down.
You see, you can get what you want. Just have to know where to go.
See your Cadillac Tri-Statesman.
No, my plane's stuck somewhere back
Your flight has been canceled. The 5 most hated words of every business traveler. On a day like this, I know it's not the airline's fault. Still, I just want somebody to give me some answers.
Let's see if we can reroute you to another city.
Those are the people I come back to. They try and find a way and give me my best option, maybe even on another airline. I appreciate that, because a little honesty goes a long way. Tell Billy by halftime, I'll be there.
Is that Johnson's team behind us?
Exactly.
Are they members of Hertz #1 Club Gold?
Exactly.
Are we members of Hertz #1?
Not exactly.
So thanks to Hertz, they're going to get to the meeting on time.
And we'll be late. So exactly what will I tell the boss?
In rent-a-car, there's Hertz, and there's not exactly. Make sure you choose the right one.
And then a dog in the cargo hold 8-hour presentation.
Is he buying it?
Not exactly.
This Saturday, January 28th, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Every item in every Nobody Beats the Wiz store is on sale, or it's yours free. Nobody beats the Wiz.
New York Knicks basketball is brought to you in part by Hertz. For business, for pleasure, nobody does it exactly like Hertz. And by the Cadillac Tri-Statesman, the Cadillac dealers of New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
Well, that three-point shot by Randy Woods makes this game interesting. It's now a 7-point lead for the Knicks going into the fourth quarter. We'll take a look at the All-Stars chosen by the fans in the NBA. In the East, Grant Hill had the more votes than anybody. Scottie Pippen, also of the Chicago Bulls. Shaquille O'Neal, Anthony Hardaway, and Reggie Miller round out the Eastern starting squad.
We'll show you the West in a moment. Meanwhile, the Clippers have cut it to 5 on that bucket by Massenberg. Fourth quarter just getting underway. Harper for 3. And the Knicks now lead 64-56. So Derek continuing the good three-point shooting. That is his third of the night. And he now has 15 points. The Knicks lead is 8. They've led by as many as 15. Murray looking for position on Bonner. Not a good shot. Lamont Murray, 5 for 20 from the field. Here's Smith. Strong move by Charles Smith.
See, what makes that move is he presents the jump shot first, making the defense come up to him. And then that explosive move by Charles showed how he can score in any situation. That's one of his stronger moves. When you see Charles around the basket, many times he runs into problems with the defense, but not on that move. Great move by Charles.
All right, a look at the Western Conference. This will be the starting lineup as voted by the fans. Charles Barkley, Sean Kemp up front, Akeem Olajuwon at center, Dan Marley and Latrell Sprewell in the backcourt. Look at the starting lineups for the NBA All-Star game in Phoenix coming up in a couple of weeks.
Marv, with Sprewell and Marley, both shooting guards. I guess the point guard in that situation will be your close friend Charles Barkley. And the center.
I think somehow they'll figure it out. They'll work it out. Grant Hill of the Pistons narrowly defeating Shaquille O'Neal of the Magic to become the first rookie. That's an offensive foul. He'll become the first rookie in the history of NBA All-Star fan balloting to lead all players in votes received. Call has just been changed. That's a traveling violation.
That's interesting how the fan reaction is to Grant Hill, who started out the season in terrific fashion, but I mean he has slowed down due to some injuries, and of course the team isn't winning, and I mean he hasn't been the last month and a half, and yet he had the attraction of the public to be the top vote getter. Very interesting. Obviously reflects his great career at Duke University.
The Knicks lead is 10 with 2 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Davis to the running hook. Woods with a bad pass. It's a 4-on-2 for the Knicks. Mason gives it back to Harper. Derek with 17, and Bill Finch wants to talk it over. 9:44 to go in the fourth.
Necessarily have to go for the layup inside because you have 4 against 2.
7-0 run by the Knicks, countering the 8-0 spurt by the Clippers. Roy Vaught with only his second field goal. His time has been cut into because of the foul problems. He is playing with 5 personals. The Knicks lead by 10 points.
Sure, when Bill Fitch discusses this game to the eager fans in L.A., he's going to point out that that was the key to the game, that Vaught didn't get enough playing time because of fouls, the leading scorer and leading rebounder.
Davis with the shot clock running down, hitting the 3 in the face of Lamont Murray. And the Knicks now lead 71-58. Quiet night for Terry DeHare has come off the bench. Clippers #1 pick last year. Here's DeHare. And that is only his second field goal. Last year as a rookie, he shot only 37%. And John, as you know, shooting problems can be a problem for a shooting guard.
That's the percentage he's shooting this year as well, Marv, although he's playing 24 minutes a game.
Again, it is Davis. So Huber had a couple of quiet games after the good run, but he has done it tonight. 6 of 10, 15 points. And the Knicks have extended to a 13-point lead with 4 minutes gone by in the fourth quarter. Grant, nice look. Terry DeHare from Gary Grant, Knicks 73, and the Clippers 62. The steal by DeHare, but Hopper able to get back for it. Mason saw the opening. Yes, and it counts. So Mason with the field goal, and he will go to the line.
Derek Harper pushing that ball to Mason. Look how wide open that hole is. Mason charging to the basket. And enjoying it with a little flourish at the end. Anthony getting a lot more visibility in the Knicks' offensive scheme these days. As Pat Riley said, I'm developing more and more confidence in Mason's offense. It's always been defense and rebounding for Mason when you describe his most important value, but now it's becoming offense as well.
Kamon Murray called on the foul, sits down, replaced by Eric Piatkowski. The Knicks 75 and the Clippers 62. Piatkowski got the step. Caught. Firing it off the glass and rebounded by Bonner. Knicks looking much sharper here in the fourth quarter. Mason got inside, couldn't hit. Ewing for Bonner. Yes. And the Knicks lead by 15.
Quickness by the Knicks in their execution now. All players look very alive and alert.
The Knicks have been coming up very strong in fourth quarters during this current successful string, winning 13 of the last 14. They've won 5 in a row. Foul is called. Basket will not count. That's number 5 on Ewing. A non-shooting foul. Last 4 games in the fourth quarter, the Knicks have outscored their opponents by an average of 28-19. They've shot 49%, and they've held the opposition to only 37% shooting. And they have played well here at the start of the fourth. Caught with the fake. Came up short. Knicks trying to make it 7 of the last 8 in the victory column at home. Davis. Yes. Gilbert Davis barely got a look at the basket.
And you know, it didn't even touch the rim. It was nothing but net for Hubert, who's in some groove these days. Boy, is he shooting that ball well. 17 for Davis. High man is Ewing with 19, 17 apiece for Hopper and Davis. Knicks with their biggest lead of the night. A margin of 17. This after the Clippers had cut into that lead. Massenberg with 8 points, and the Knicks now lead 79-64 with 5.5 remaining in the game. Hopper with the spin, able to lose Grant. Setting up Davis for 3. And a loose ball foul as Mason was shoved. Foul against the Clippers. Ball for number 6. Very long night, although is it possible to have a quick long night for Loy Vaught, who was fouled out. 2 of 8 from the field, 4 points, 8 rebounds. 4th time this season now in 42 games that he's fouled out.
Charles Outlaw back on the floor. Mason. Bonner. Vaught ended up playing 25 minutes. There's Bonner with the spin. Oh, Anthony Bonner with a gorgeous move. (81-64) Knicks. Piatkowski. Slammed home by Tony Massenberg. So the Knicks by 15. And the league gets comfortable enough. And we might see some people we have not seen in some time.
Who probably will not see that much time, certainly in the next 2 games. The Knicks are now in the first of 3 games in 4 days.
It counts. Patrick Ewing with a buzzer shot. And the Knicks now lead 83-66.
Knicks are off to Charlotte tomorrow to the Hive. Charlotte Hornets had their 13-game home winning streak ended last Monday night to the Lakers, and then they lost again last night at home to Atlanta for their 3rd straight loss, so they'll be nasty tomorrow night in Charlotte.
Record of 24-16. The Knicks able to pass by the grouping in the Central Division. Cleveland and Charlotte and Indiana.
Knicks now at the 5th best record in the NBA and 2nd best in the East behind Orlando.
Several weeks ago, the hair gets inside. And talking to Knick players, they had the idea they were conceding the top spot in the Eastern Conference. So Orlando was really rolling. The Knicks were having their problems, but that's not the case. They feel now they have a shot. Of course, that could mean home court advantage come playoff time if they can catch the Magic. Traveling violation is called. Only 6.5 back going into tonight. And Orlando trailing at home, trailing by 3 late second quarter, going up against the Chicago Bulls. Harold Ellis checking in for the first time. Remember last season, the game in Anaheim, Ellis had a very strong game against the Knicks. Does it with great enthusiasm and hustle, but this is his first appearance tonight. Harold Ellis out of Morehouse College. That's a 3-point attempt, and the rebound handled by Outlaw.
Ellis is not getting any time with this team, playing at 8 minutes a game on the average.
Massenberg. Rebound Ellis. Ellis off the bench for his first field goal. We're down to 2:45 remaining in the 4th quarter. The Knicks lead by 13. So we have not hit that point of comfortable garbage time. And Pat Riley has had to remain with his regulars. Timeout is called now by the Knicks. We'll be back after these words.
Stay tuned after most Knicks and Rangers home games and hear from some of the biggest stars in sports and showbiz. Mike Francesa and Kathleen Murphy host live from the play-by-play right here on MSG.
Save me! Save me!
Beats Danny Manning and the Clippers with that jump shot. The Knicks win the game 103-101. 9/10 of a second left. Ewing hit the jumper to finish up with 32 points and 16 rebounds.
2 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Knicks lead by 13. Mason gets inside, and he's called for the offensive foul.
Hard to believe that a couple of years ago, this was a playoff team for 2 years in a row under Larry Brown. And Bobby Weiss had the job last year. He was in and out pretty quickly. When the Clippers featured Ron Harper and Dominique Wilkins and Mark Jackson. The franchise once again has changed its roster dramatically. Well, last year, Marv, they won 27 games. I thought that was a bad year. That may loom as a pretty good number as time goes on.
Well, last season, the front office tried to make the most of a bad situation when it dealt Danny Manning, got Dominique Wilkins, only to lose Wilkins to free agency. Yes, last year, 27 and 55. Here's Grant off the break, and the Knicks lead 83-72. Down to 1 minute and 20 remaining 4th quarter. They trap Davis. Harper able to get to it. He's trying to use the clock a bit here. Here's Honor. Harper for 3. And a foul is called. It's called on Harper with 58 seconds remaining. So Piatkowski will throw in. Now Ellis will get the nod. Grant got the step. And the Knicks lead 83-74. Bonner eluding Grant. Monty Williams is hit from behind, and he'll go to the line. Outlaw called for number 5, so Monty Williams to the line for the first time. Monty Williams having his difficulties at the line. 9 for 23, 39% shooting.
Monty's still a starter, though, for the Knicks. This is his 15th start in 39 Knicks games, and everything's working out just fine. Even though he doesn't play that much, he makes the most of his playing time, and he's really distinguished himself as a mini Oakley in the offensive rebounding department.
Monty with 5 rebounds tonight. Monty on the steal. Half-minute to go, fourth quarter. Knicks lead by 11. And a reach-in foul on Piatkowski. Piatkowski is a rookie from Nebraska. The Los Angeles Clippers are over the foul limit. So the Knicks back to the line. Hubert Davis, who is 1 for 1 at the free throw line.
Somebody take a step back and block twice.
Clippers continue the road trip at Washington on Saturday. And next Monday at Detroit. Mason on the follow. Mason again. He's rejected by Outlaw. 20 seconds to go in the fourth quarter. Piatkowski. And Mason rebound. Look out. Mason and Ellis involved in that collision, and a foul is called. It's called on Ellis. So that will put Mason at the line. Well, Patrick Ewing enjoying the proceedings. Here the final minute.
Well, Patrick against Outlaw tonight. Tomorrow night it's Alonzo Mourning, and then the Phoenix Suns with their great depth come in here Sunday.
Yes, they'll be facing the combination of Danny Shays and Joe Klein, perhaps a little Wayman Tisdale for another look. But that is a very deep team. Dick Motta was quoted to say either the starting 5 or the rest of the roster could make the playoffs. 87-74. Knicks by 13. Final seconds. Grant to Piatkowski, not able to get it off. So the Knicks making 6 straight wins. 14 of the last 15. They go to 26-13, while the Clippers drop to 7-35. We'll be back with the recap from the Garden in just a moment.
Well, the Knicks go on to win their 6th straight ball game, their 14th in their last 15 tries. They're now 11-1 during the month of January, 13 games over 500. Now let's go to Bob Page, though, who's standing by at the sports desk.
Thank you, Gus. Good evening again, everybody. Once again, the New York Knicks without any problems tonight taking on the Los Angeles Clippers. When you think about it, they might be the worst franchise in all of professional sports. Absolutely clueless ownership has destroyed this franchise without much hope for the future. Charles Oakley was here tonight at the Garden. Charles, who, you remember him, the Knicks star forward. His services have not been needed of late. The ball club playing beautifully without him. Patrick Ewing inside. The Clippers have no center. They started a 6'8" forward against him, though they did double and triple team Ewing. He had 14 first-half points. Derek Harper had 10. Ewing frequently kicking the ball out of the double team to him. Later in the first quarter, Harper with another three. Knicks were on a 10-0 run. They led 19-14 going into the second quarter. There, Pat Riley has Hubert Davis in the game. He responds, turning around, hitting a three-pointer. He had 18 points on the night. New York up 10 there. Then the Knicks go on an 11-4 run. Former Seton Hall star Terry DeHare of Jersey City back in town. Off his missed layup, Harper to Ewing. He makes no mistake with a lay-in, 39-27. Bill Fitch and the Clips down 41-29 at halftime. Yes, they scored 29 points the entire first half. Third quarter off a Loy Vaught miss. It's Ewing to Harper to Monty Williams, who lays it in, and the Knicks were up 50-35. The Clippers did start to chip away. The Knicks understandably let down in this one. Rookie Lamont Murray with a three-pointer. It was 56-46. He had 14 in the game. And now Murray comes back, drills another triple. The lead was 61-51. To end the third quarter, former LaSalle star Randy Woods with a long three, and the Clippers trailed 61-54 going into the fourth. They actually cut the lead to 5 early in the final stanza. The Knicks quickly regained control. Charles Smith to the hole, slams it, the lead back up to 10. Davis, another triple with a shot clock running down. New York has had 71-58. And now Anthony Mason slices through the lane with the layup and gets the call. He missed the free throw, but the Knicks are up 75-62. Not much trouble tonight, never in doubt for the fans who turned out of all sizes and ages at Madison Square Garden. Now, also this evening, the New York Knicks watching, as usual, the Orlando Magic score because they're trailing Orlando in the NBA's Atlantic Division. Orlando is at home to Chicago this evening. They had a delay to start the second half. Moisture on the court. They're playing again, and the Bulls lead by 3 points, as you see. The other action in the National Basketball Association this evening, we begin on the scoreboard at Atlanta, where Cleveland leads the Hawks by 7 in the fourth quarter. The Portland Trailblazers won big at Detroit, 106-89. Phoenix playing at Indiana. We told you earlier that Dale Davis of the Pacers has suffered a dislocated shoulder in that one. He is out indefinitely, and that is going to be a big and costly loss to them. And the other game in progress at this hour finds the Golden State Warriors playing at Washington, and they trail by 2 in the fourth quarter. Now, I'll show you this videotape from earlier this week. That's Michael Jordan and Nick Faldo at the Pro-Am in the Phoenix Open from Monday. Faldo says he has always been a huge, huge fan of Jordan's, and he actually got Michael to autograph his sweatshirt there. Here's Michael, the most famous minor league baseball player in the world, on the tee. I'm not a golfer by any means, but it looked like a pretty good swing at least. And who knows, perhaps Michael Jordan someday will be playing on the PGA Seniors Tour. I think he'd like that at any rate. Boston playing tonight at home. The Bruins are taking on the New Jersey Devils. Great goaltending matchup here. Chris Terreri has been terrific in nets, as has been Blaine Locker, the Bruins rookie, and they are scoreless in the third period. Mark Messier's contract negotiations finally done with the Rangers. Today they agreed on a multi-year, multi-million-dollar contract extension, which will keep him playing with the Rangers, presumably here in New York, for the rest of his career. More from us at 11 o'clock tonight, live from the play-by-play. Now these messages.
Clippers are coming off a win over Boston, and that was an upset, and I'm sure that you guys wanted to make sure that you wouldn't be their 8th casualty of the year.
Most definitely. I think, you know, the Clippers are a very tough team to play, I think, if you base it on their record. They've struggled up to this point during the year, and, you know, it's kind of hard to get up to play these guys, but this is the kind of game that you have to win, and we have it out of our system, and hopefully we'll be ready to bounce back and play against a real tough Charlotte team tomorrow night.
Is it hard for you guys to get up for a team like this that's had so many problems winning games on the year?
Well, it is, especially when you have a team like Charlotte coming up, a team like Phoenix coming up. I think subconsciously you sort of go to those games without finishing a game like the Clippers game. You know, fortunately for us, we have enough talent, enough depth on this team for guys to come out and play with the proper energy that we need, because that's what it takes against a team like this, is to play with the proper energy.
And talking about Charlotte, you guys go there tomorrow, and they have a lot of weapons. Alonzo's playing well. Larry Johnson seems to have recovered from having back problems. You may see them in the playoffs. Do you want to set the tone early here?
I think it's important for us to play well against them. It's going to take a lot of force. It's going to take protecting the basketball, because they're going to press and try and take us out of our post game. It's important for us to get back on defense, because Muggsy is going to push the ball. and try and create easy baskets for their basketball team. So we have to go there with a mindset to really be aggressive and ready to play basketball.
And how about playing against Muggsy? I mean, he's a competitor, 5'3" or 4", I believe, and always a tough task when you face him.
Well, he's tough against everybody, I think, especially from a defensive standpoint. He's able to create a lot of problems for you with his ball pressure, but I think on the other end, you can take advantage of him a little bit, shooting the ball over the top of him. So you have to go there, and when you play against a guy like that, you have to play strong and play hard.
One thing that I'd like to mention is that you guys came off the 3-game road trip in which you won all 3 games, and you had a great series, not only shooting the ball, but also playing defense against these opposing point guards, and it seems like defense has always been your trademark.
Well, I think that's why I'm in the league, is because of my defense, Gus, and I have to continue to do that. That's what's going to win basketball games, especially for our basketball team. Early in the year, there was talk about us being a running team and those type of things, but I think the fact that we've gotten back to the basics, which is defense, rebounding the basketball, we give ourselves a chance to win consistently.
Well, D, thanks for joining us, and congratulations on having a good game. Well, Derek Harper, but we will have more coming up in a little while as our coverage of the New York Knicks continues right here on MSG.
Cadillac Division.
But right now, let's join Marv Albert, who will wrap things up for us.
All right, Gus, and the 74 points for the Los Angeles Clippers represents a low for the season for a Knick opponent. The previous low, 77 points. So the Knicks 87 and the Clippers 74. The opposition a little tougher tomorrow night when the Knicks take on the Hornets in Charlotte. Next game night will get it going at 7:30. We'll be on hand at 8 o'clock. The Knicks post-game report is coming up. Madison Square Garden announces clothing is provided by Perry Ellis Menswear. Marv Albert with John Andres along with Al Troutwig saying so long from the Garden. Gus and the post-game is next.
New York Knicks basketball has been brought to you by Ice Draft. Taste the future of draft beer. New Ice Brewed Ice Draft from Budweiser. By Head & Shoulders and Head & Shoulders Dry Scalp, because great hair can't have flakes. By AT&T International Business Services. Let AT&T work for you. By the Discover Card. It pays to discover the card that pays you back. And by Nike, who encourages you to participate in the lives of America's youth.
Hungry? Want Knicks tickets? Want a new Eagle Vision TSI? Enter the Reese's Eagle Vision TSI Big Shot Contest for your chance to take center court at a Knicks game to shoot for the grand prize, a 1995 Eagle Vision TSI. Lucky winners will receive 2 tickets to a Knicks home game, dinner at Reese's legendary Toot Store restaurant, and a shot at winning an Eagle Vision TSI. To enter, stop by any participating Reese restaurant for your official entry form.
Donald White was a 17-year-old honor student, killed by a handgun.
Michael Busek was a young New York City police officer, killed by a handgun.
Thousands of Americans are killed by handguns each year.
New York is our city. And yours. Be proud of it.
We can make a difference.
Make New York a safer city.
Increase the peace. Call 1-800-5-HELP-55. Make a difference. Goods for Guns has.
The New York Knicks postgame report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
And welcome to the Knicks postgame report. I'm Gus Johnson, where the Knicks have gone on to beat the LA Clippers 87-74. Time now to take a look at some of the final statistics. Knicks not handling the ball very well. 23 turnovers, which resulted in 25 points for the LA Clippers. However, the Knicks 32 of 71 from the field, 45%. Defense remains the name of the game for Pat Riley's club. They limit teams to under 100 points for the 7th straight game. Time now to join Coach Pat Riley in his press conference. So let's go listen to what the coach had to say.
It was a game that it was obvious from the start that we just did not have the energy. We basically survived the game, and it was flat, you just got to deal with it and hope that it doesn't turn out to be a nightmare. We did enough things to stay double digits throughout the course of the game. We could have made it easier on ourselves if we would have applied ourselves, to get some rest for tomorrow against Charlotte. But it was important to get the win, obviously, and to continue to win. And now we got two big games with Charlotte and Phoenix, at home, and anything that resembles the last 2 games against those teams is not going to be good enough. So, we're banking on the fact that I don't know, maybe we're looking a little bit ahead to it, but sometimes it's like you got to deal with it.
You sound relieved to get past this one.
Yeah, it's a hard game to play from the standpoint you're playing a team that's 7-34, bad record, play hard, they play real hard, they execute, they use every second on the shot clock, and they keep the possessions real low. So if you're not efficient, which we were not, we had 13 turnovers in the first half, and they had 13 of their 29 points in transition. So, we were not efficient with the ball, but we did. We survived the game and got the win.
What do you tell the team coming in against the Clippers?
We know. We talked about it yesterday. I made the statement yesterday to him, basically, and if last night's win at Boston didn't sort of wake them up a little bit, the team has beaten some good teams. I think a lot of teams go in and play the record. They play a 7-34 team, and they play hard, and they stay with it, and Bill Fitch makes them execute, and they execute. And if they get something going, I thought primarily that Loy Vaught, he was really off on his game tonight. He was not shooting the ball well, and he got in foul trouble, and, that basically helped us.
For the primary reason you guys were flat was because of the slow pace the Clippers tried to
they lull you. They don't let you. Their offense is very, predictable, and they really want to get into the last 10 seconds of the clock, and sometimes that slows you down on the run, and it slows you down on your execution. So you got to make every possession count. That's why it's such a low-scoring game.
Had a lot of ball movement tonight, but it also seemed to have a lot of turnovers that went with it.
Oh, we had too many. Yeah, did we? So, they lead the league in forcing turnovers, and they get up and pressure the ball. But I think a lot of teams go in and play the record, and they're not sharp, they're not efficient, and the teams that don't survive end up losing.
Hubert seemed back on it.
Yeah, we got some good shooting from Hubert, in the second half, and they cut it to 5. We made 2 real good plays to get it back to 10, and then Hubert got a hot hand. We tried to run some stuff for him. He had 3 or 4 shots in a row for us to keep it up there.
Had he had finger or something hurting on a shooting hand?
Well, he hurt it. He hurt his finger. I don't know where it was. If it was here in Dallas, yeah. But he's okay. Yeah, he's fine.
Was there anything in the, maybe tonight you tried to go wrong with guys with back-to-back games coming up tomorrow? Or?
Well, a little bit. That is the one thing that you'd want to deal with, but you can't gauge that. The important thing is to get the win, and we did. But we had to play some guys a little longer than we probably wanted to.
Is there anything positive that you can take out of this game?
A win. That's about as positive as you can get. Thank you. Okay.
Coach Riley's press conference brought to you by the New York Times. So the Knicks walk away with this one because guys like Hubert Davis got hot at the end, and we'll have more on the post-game report after this.
The New York Knicks post-game report is brought to you by Citibank. For banking anytime, anywhere, any way you choose. At Citibank, the city never sleeps.
Patrick Ewing, today his wife gave birth to a beautiful little baby girl, and he had 21 points to celebrate that as well. And earlier, he spoke with the press.
You gotta go. You leaving now?
It's tough to get up for. I mean, no, we know that we're a better team than they are, but we want to keep our streak going. Our goal is to try to catch Orlando, and every game counts.
Any looking ahead to Charlotte? Is tomorrow a big game for you guys?
It's a big game. They're a good team. They beat us here. We definitely want to repay the favor.
Is that the fun part of the NBA, going up against a team like that? And this, I guess, is a night where you're playing against a team you should beat.
Well, no, I mean, this game was definitely a game that we should win, and I'm glad we won it. Now we got to move on, start getting ready for Charlotte.
How's it feel being a daddy again?
Feels good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, go.
Joining us now are Michael Kay. And Michael, you had a chance to go into the Clippers locker room to talk to Bill Fitch. What do you have to say?
Well, he was really impressed by the Knicks, and every opposing coach you talk to lately is really impressed by them. He said that he thinks that they're one of the best teams in the NBA, which is an obvious statement anyway. He said, but the difference between this year and last year is that they needed a guy last year to come off the bench and bury the J. He said, and tonight it was Hubert Davis. He said, we were in his cavities. He said, and this guy just kept coming in and dropping the J. He said, that's what they need, and if he can do that through the playoffs, that could be the extra thing that they need to push them over the top.
Knicks started the game a little slow. You had a chance to also go into their locker room. Their whole attitude in terms of getting ready to head to Charlotte and face them and then facing Phoenix back here.
Let me tell you something, Gus. That team is so pumped about the Charlotte game tomorrow. That's a real test for them, a tough game on the road against a team that beat them here at the Garden. That's all they were talking about in the locker room just moments before. So if that's what they're thinking about now, you know they had to be thinking about it. We're sitting here at courtside, and this was a tough game to watch, and must be a very difficult game to play in. Everybody knows that they're supposed to beat the Clippers, and even if they just go out there and don't play that hard, they're going to get the victory. I think their mind was in Charlotte, and they're looking forward to playing that game big time.
Now, they're getting ready to play Charlotte, and the playoffs are still a long way away. There's a lot of games to be played, and people are making it to be a very important game. But actually, how important is it really?
Well, I'll tell you, the only reason it's important, and it surprises me because it's before the All-Star break, and this team is actually playing scoreboard baseball, as you'd like to say, because a couple of those guys said, we're a couple of games behind Orlando. We have to make up games. They still have their eyes set on the prize. They are not giving up first place to Orlando. They feel that they have a chance to overtake the Magic and have home court throughout the playoffs. And that's important to them because Orlando is a very difficult team to beat in Arena. And if they could have 4 games here and 3 games there, that's a big deal. I think it's a tough mark, though, to make up that much room on the Orlando Magic.
And looking at Charlotte a little closely, they added Robert Parrish, Michael Adams, and for the first time, they're playing without injuries. And this seems to be a team that definitely, when the playoffs roll around, is going to give some people some problems.
Absolutely. They've got it all, and Parrish gives them the experience that they need in the postseason. It's a game that the Knicks are looking at with great plans tomorrow. Charles Smith broke it down for me, how they have to stop Muggsy Bogues, how they have to come out with a great deal of intensity. They have to push Alonzo Mourning off the blocks and get the ball down to Ewing. They already had their game plan set, and I'm sure that they were thinking about that yesterday when they were putting in the game plan for the Clippers. They were thinking about what was going to work against the Hornets as well. So, I mean, they are really pumped up in there. I can't stress that enough. They're looking forward to getting on the plane, getting down to Charlotte, and playing that game.
Well, this one started off slowly for New York, but by the time it was over, they were laughing and playing with each other on the sidelines, and Michael Kay had a chance to catch up with John Starks and ask him about the Hornets.
No question, it's a big game for us. We have to go up there and be able to get back on defense against this ball club because they like to run a lot.
When you have a game like that coming up that obviously everybody's looking forward to, is it tough to play a game like this?
Not really. This is a Clippers team that's pretty good. They play very hard, so they're gonna stay into it. They're gonna be competitive in a lot of ball games. So we did what we had to do tonight in order to get the victory.
All right, thanks, John.
All right, thank you.
Knicks guard John Starks, and looking at the Clippers, they played without Pooh Richardson today, and it's just tough for them no matter who they play nowadays.
You know what's funny, though, Gus, is they certainly have some good humor about them. Bill Fitch seems to be handling this the right way. When Pooh told him he couldn't go today, he said, well, Pooh, we were 30-point underdogs before this. Now when they find out, we'll be 10-point underdogs. So that got a laugh out of everybody. He said, but the Knicks are a tough team to prepare for. He said, because you have to have answers for a lot of things. Yeah, we had answers for them inside. He said, but they hit the outside shot. The only way we even had a chance to stay close was for them to miss their threes. He said, when they're not missing their threes, we have no shot.
So the Knicks get a break today, but they'll get ready to play the Charlotte Hornets tomorrow and Phoenix here on Sunday. So we'll be back with more after this. Saying so long from Madison Square Garden, where the Knicks leave as winners.
Sports Desk. The Knicks are in Charlotte tonight with the fourth best record in the league, topped only by Orlando in the East. They're facing the Hornets, who have won 15 of 20 at home so far this year. The Nets, meanwhile, continue out west that killer road trip. They're 1-1 so far after losing to the Lakers. The Nuggets haven't won a game since Dan Issel resigned. Gene Little's their new coach is 0-5 as the head coach. O.J. Simpson's trial again delayed till at least next week, maybe a month. The prosecution has asked for a continuance. Deputy District Attorney Marcia Clark is seeking sanctions against the defense for their failure to turn over that witness list until late on Wednesday. Super Bowl 29, which should be the biggest dud since the Bears and the Patriots back in the mid-'80s, is now just 2 days away. Final preparations today for both teams, and how to properly canonize the 49er All-Star seems to be the only drama remaining.
The main issue is the San Francisco 49ers and how we play. And we really have to be, our focus and concentration has to be on how we play and the meaningfulness of this game to the history of professional football and to our organization, because we have a chance to do something that no other club has done. That's where our focus has to be.
We face this type of situation all year long. Your comeback to that might be, well, you haven't faced the 49ers all year long either, and we haven't. But at the same time, you know, there are certain things that we have to get done. We realize that. We're working on those, and we feel like we have an honest, legitimate chance at winning.
An arrest warrant has been issued for Pittsburgh Steeler Carlton Hasselrig after he failed to appear for a hearing on drunk driving and weapons charges. Ex-Met Darryl Strawberry has copped a plea in his tax evasion case. Strawberry will plead guilty to 1 felony charge and do 3 months' time after the 1995 season, should there be a 95 season, of course. Unless the two sides begin to compromise, that won't happen. President Clinton threw his weight around earlier this week. Now the two sides have agreed to talk and begin doing it next Wednesday. Australian Men's Open featuring Pete Sampras and Andre Agassi. But tonight it's the Women's Championship. It'll be Arantxa Sanchez, who is guaranteed the #1 ranking in the world for women, and she will play Mary Pierce for the title. PGA Tour stopping in Phoenix. Hale Irwin, who claimed to be playing himself in shape this week at the tournament, leads it midway through the second round at 10 under par. Ben Crenshaw is 9 under par. Heavyweight champion George Foreman wants to fight a German in his first defense after taking the title away from Michael Moore. The WBA, however, wants to strip him of the title and the belt if he doesn't fight the mandated #1 challenger, Tony Tucker. NHL news, it is the Islanders tonight. They are unbeaten so far. They're in Washington to play the Capitals. That'll be an 8 p.m. start. And the Knicks, the team that, of course, has the league's attention with their hot streak of late, are in Charlotte to play the Hornets. We'll have it for you right here on MSG, and we begin our coverage in moments with Knicks Game Night. Next on Knicks Game Night, Patrick Ewing continues to pound his way around the NBA. Robert Parrish on his last leg, or the last link to a Hornet championship. Gus Johnson reports on Alan Bristow enjoying his best year on the Hornet bench. Hi, everybody, and welcome to our New York studios. Mike Crispino, another edition of Knicks Game Night. The Knicks are in Charlotte tonight to play the Charlotte Hornets, the second-place team in their division, as the Knicks are as they begin the night trailing the Orlando Magic. You're looking at the Charlotte Coliseum. They call it the Beehive. It is the home of the Hornets, an expansion team now 7 years old. Last year they were 41-41. The year before their only plus 500 mark. Only Muggsy Bogues remaining from that original team as the Hornets face the Knicks tonight. Now, the Knicks are facing the most difficult of NBA assignments after playing just 24 hours ago. They travel, relocate, they are in Charlotte, and they face the dreaded back-to-back against the hostile crowd, which will appear tonight at the Charlotte Coliseum. Coming off a Somonix-type effort last night, beating a Clipper team that is the worst in the professional business, I think, 7-35. The Knicks did it, and they did it by grinding it out against the L.A. Clippers of Bill Fitch last night here at Madison Square Garden. Charles Oakley. Here he is. The cast is off. He's starting to lift some weights. May be back soon. Derek Harper hitting from outside for the Knicks. Had 10 in the half. That three made it 9-6. Another one here, a 10-0 run. A 19-14 Knick lead after one. Then Hubert Davis came off the bench, and he lent his little addition to the offensive flurry from outside. Another three. Shot 7 of 13 last night. Knicks 35-25. After Terry DeHare missed a layup, Charles Smith outletting here to Harper. Then he'll go to Ewing after a nice double pump fake. Ewing laid it in, 14 of his 21 coming in the first half against Fitch and company, who were down 41-29 at halftime. Clips clawed back, a long bomb near the end of the third. Randy Woods hit it. It was 61-54. In the fourth, Charles Smith and the Knicks regained control. The pump fake, the drive, the jam. 66-56, Knicks by 10. Then Mason slicing inside. Where's the defense? Well, it's the Clippers. Mason easily for a layup, 75-62 there, and they dance away with a victory. Enjoyed by the crowd in the front row, 87-74. 14 of their last 15 now for the Knicks.
We could have made it easier on ourselves. We would have applied ourselves, you know, to get some rest for tomorrow against Charlotte. But it was important to get the win, obviously, and to continue to win. And you know, now we got two big games with Charlotte and Phoenix, you know, at home, and anything that resembles the last two games against those teams is not going to be good.
The Modell scouting report now. Charlotte Hornets 24-16, despite having just two people among the league leaders. Muggsy Bogues third in assists. Alonzo Mourning averaging 3 blocks a game. Now let's go to Marv Albert and John Andres in North Carolina.
All right, Mike, and we are getting ready for the Knicks and the Hornets, meeting for the second time this season for the Knicks, coming off the spiritless game with the Clippers last night. Now, the quality of opposition certainly a bit different tonight, although the Hornets have struggled recently. We talked with Knick players about tonight's game.
The board stay in the effort, you know, department like we've been doing, and stop their big scores from scoring a lot of points.
It's a big game. You know, they're a good team. They beat us here. We definitely want to repay the favor.
We know each other's strengths and weaknesses, and we know they're going to get the ball to LJ and Zoe, and we're going to get the ball to Patrick, so it's going to be a nuts and bolts game.
We have to basically take away the things that they want to do. You know, Muggsy wants to penetrate and dish. We have to, you know, guards have to keep him, stay in front of him. You know, we have to push Alonzo out as far as we can, not let him catch in deep posts. Larry wants to drive and shoot Jays. I have to stay down and just contest his shot. We have to come out and we have to just play hard defensively, and we have to be together.
Based on the history of these two teams, you know the Knicks are going to get a big game out of Patrick Ewing. It always seems to happen when he's up against Alonzo, his Georgetown man. But the rest of the Knicks have to rise to the occasion, Marvin. I think they'll remember that game in New York. They were pasted in New York. They were made to look bad. And you know Charlotte and the Knicks are going to be there at the end, and the Knicks want to make sure that Charlotte knows they can be beaten.
John, that was back on November the 26th at Madison Square Garden. In fact, it was the first home loss of the season for the New York Knicks. The Hornets won it 105-95, and it was an outstanding game for Larry Johnson, who really hurt the Knicks. And Larry Johnson, a guy who's come back from a series of injuries and ailments.
Much, you know, when you look back to last summer, the feeling was Larry might not be back to all-star form or not be the player, half the player he was. There was a lot of doubt about his career, but he has come back big, and he showed it to the Knicks in New York in their first meeting. Larry Johnson really had his entire repertoire going. The jump shot was terrific. Larry Johnson did a lot of smiling after much of his success in the game, so much so that people took note of it. When matched up with Patrick Ewing, Larry felt very confident in that jump shot, and late in the game Larry went way out. This was a three-point shot near the end of the game, and the cameras were on Larry, and a lot of eyes were on Larry Johnson when he finished with his successful efforts from time in and time out throughout the game. I think people might have remembered that. Larry had an excellent game, 9 out of 18 from the field to go for a total of 21 points, 8 rebounds as well, and he's been on a roll lately. He and Mourning have been carrying this team.
And remember, several Knick players upset with the theatrics of the likes of Larry Johnson and some other members of the Hornets. Here's what Charles Smith had to say after the game. They felt there was a bit too much celebrating on the part of the Charlotte Hornets.
Yes, Larry leads the department certainly in that area. Mourning always plays hard, but he doesn't play with that big fat that smile that Larry Johnson puts up when he does well throughout games.
I wonder if there'll be any carryover to tonight, because you have the feeling that the Knicks do remember that night at Madison Square Garden.
Well, the Knicks are also on a big roll now, and I don't think they want to let up and be taken down here in Charlotte tonight.
All right, when we come back in just a couple of minutes on Knicks Game Night, we'll be chatting with the John Andres of the NBA, the ageless 41-year-old, the oldest man of the NBA, the Chief, Robert Parrish, who's now a backup center with the Charlotte Hornets. Right now, let's get back to Mike.
All right, thanks very much, Marvin. There's a superb setup with Marvin John in the midst of that beehive of activity down in Charlotte. And we will indeed talk with the Bionic Man, Robert Parrish, the oldest man in the NBA, when we return on Knicks Game Night right here on MSG.